It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday, baby. Woo-wee! New week, new goals. You set them and crush them. You set them and crush them. We set them and crush them. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, man. Great day here in the Shy. Let me tell you, it's a new week, new goals. And you know what we do with new goals? We set them and we crush them. Guys, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. You know what? And if you're not following us on Facebook, tisk. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Shawn and Maya in the morning. Also, you can follow us at SportsZone Chicago. SportsZone Chicago. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, awesome. If you're not watching this on our YouTube channel, tisk again. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, SportsZone Chicago. Okay? If you don't know how to spell that, we can't rock together. SportsZone Chicago. All right? If you're watching this on our app, excelente, or in the words of C. Montgomery Burns, excellent. Okay, but if you haven't downloaded the app, what are you doing? What are you waiting on? Wherever you get your apps from, okay, you download SportsZone Chicago. You can check out Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week. You can check out all the other live shows that we have. We have 5 times, like Bro Man from the Fifth Flow. Okay, we got five live shows. You can check those out. We have tons of podcasts. Check it out. Just make sure you download SportsZone Chicago. SportsZone Chicago. I love it. All right, listen, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings, at SM_mornings, or you can tweet us at SportsZone Shy. That's CHI at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I mean, nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you could follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram because you do it just for the gram because you're an IGer, then just follow her at Maya_Akai. That's MAYA_AKAI. I would be remiss if I didn't bring it on, man. He's a dude who makes it all run nice and smoothly for us. He is our super producer. We call him the Wiz because he's the man behind the curtain, but I like to call him my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, the one, the only, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good, Shawn. I had a rough one over the weekend.
What happened?
Playing a little softball. I just got a little beat up. I got a little bruise on the thigh. You know what I'm saying? A little sore. But
12 or 16?
12.
Okay.
12
okay.
First time of the year. We're just screwing around. But, having fun. But, man, I forgot how sore you can get while playing ball throughout the day. It comes back to haunt you for a little bit, and then it kind of eases itself back on throughout the season. But, man, how about those Bulls?
How about them? How about them, baby?
How about that temper tantrum? I know we're gonna get to it a little bit later, but I was a little shocked, especially from said player. I was shocked that happened.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me just leave it like that. Interesting. So we got a lot to talk about. We have tons and tons to talk about. We have a phenomenal show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. So you know what I need you to do wherever you're watching this from, Facebook Live, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, if you're watching this on our app, wherever you're watching this from, leave a comment on that platform. It'll come right to us. And my super producer, Ivan, will get it up on the screen. We want you to be interactive. We want your questions. We want your comments. We want your critiques. We want your praise. Whatever it is, talk to us, Papa. You know what? Talk to us, Mama. Whatever you got, talk to us. Let us know. All right? Listen, when I say we got a great show, I am not bull jiving. Not bull jiving by any stretch. Listen. It was a huge day yesterday for college basketball. Okay, huge. And the Fighting Illini, John Centeno, good morning, Papa. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. And Flying Illini, after winning the Big Ten tournament yesterday, in overtime, yeah, I'll tell you what. This is what I'm talking about. But you know what? So we're going to talk to a guy. He's a producer over at ESPN 1000 right here in Chicago. He was actually my very first producer when I started way back then in 2014. Holy shit, 2014. Back at Illinois Center for Broadcasting is what it was called back then. It's now Illinois Media School. And I was doing a show with him, Jared Payton's. It was actually Jared Payton's show, and I just sat in on it. So Shawn Davis is going to call in as U of I grad. Also, he's a Morgan Park grad as well. So I'm sure he's got some, he's an IO guy as well. So Shawn Davis, ESPN 1000, Morgan Park, U of I grad, alum right here, 10 o'clock, talking U of I and their path to the Final Four. And at 11 o'clock, VJ Vemu from SB Nation is going to call in. We're going to talk about that Bulls game Ivan had just mentioned. I'll tell you what, that Bulls game was interesting. A new starting five. And he's like, you know what? I need to flip the script because you're coming out too flat. And I'll tell you what, I think I may have found out, Ivan, I think I may have figured it out, man. I figured it out what we need to do.
What's that?
You know what? Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen run that second team.
I'm okay with
Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen, along with Denzel Valentine, they run that second team. Who in God's name on the second unit in the NBA can stand Lauri Markkanen?
I don't know. I think you could. I think Zach is good enough to make other players better. I think you have some of the role players on the bench, like Asado. You have
the law firm of Sato and Young.
Yeah, Sato, you have Young. The thing is Lowry and Wendell. Like, do you want Lowry on the bench or do you want Wendell off the bench? I feel like Wendell starting just because of what you're saying, the explosion of offense coming off the bench. Who could stop that? Name a bench in the league that would be able to stop Lowry and Kobe coming off the bench. You know what I mean? I like the idea. I really like the idea. I think you're a little bit ways away with Kobe as far as progressing into the point guard you want him to be. But if you want to go ahead and see what you have with this player and see at least the most you can get out of him offensive wise, I would move him to the bench because I think Kobe White. Oh, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. But Kobe White would be a guy that definitely would take a giant step, just being able to do his own thing off the bench and not necessarily being in Zach's shadow and having to be perfect with the first team.
Yeah, and I think, as I said last time, man, we got more people chiming in. Hashem, what's up, Papa? HR, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. My guy, Javi De Leon. Javi, what's up, Papa? How are you? Former colleague over at Curie High School, tunes in every day. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. But I'll tell you what, man, I like that idea because, man, that gives you two powerhouses on that second unit. So now, who do we have to fill out this first unit? I'm telling you what, we called it, I shouldn't say we, but I was one of the first people to admire, after I did my research, the Patrick Williams drafting. P. Will is freaking unbelievable. This kid is young. He's got a grown man's body already. He can put a little more pound, but he's got an NBA body. This kid is fundamentally sound. Comes off a career night yesterday, and I'll tell you what, I'm really, really happy with this kid. And I think we need one more guy in the starting unit. If we can get one more legit player in that starting five, and I don't know if I want to put Kobe back there, but what do we got here? I just saw white.
You got a little smudge. Smudgy.
It's not like from CrossFit where I have chalk all over my clothes.
You have a powdered donut, dude? No.
No, not this morning. No, I mean, I'm back to eating healthy. I started gaining weight. I'm looking I got to get back to, got to stop messing around. I got to stop messing around. We got Lewis. Well, Lewis Mejia, what's up, Papa? How are you? Thanks for tuning in. He's another guy who tunes in all the time, just like Hashem Johnson Teno. He's a newer listener, but we love it. We appreciate all the people who are listening and watching on whatever platform it is that you watch us or listen to us from. As I said, make sure you get interactive. We want you to be in on the show. So you know what? Again, don't forget 10 o'clock, the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Sean Davis from ESPN 1000. Don't forget Morgan Park and University of Illinois Champaign alum. So he's got some good stuff. He's going to talk about the Fighting Illini at number 1 seed. Okay, and then VJ Vimu at 11 for SB Nation talking this Bulls game. But guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
Just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
The Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And with that, we bring in their guy. We bring in our guy. We bring in your guy, the one, the only, our boy with his NYPD hoodie on. He thinks he gets in the New York state of mind, I guess. I don't know what that's all about. That's our boy. The guy you can find on Twitter at ACA Joe. He's the sports editor over at the Chicago Crusader. Let's bring him on. Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Papa? God bless.
How you
Go
doing?
fight in the line. Go fight in the line.
You know it, baby. You
Big
know
Ten
it.
Tourney champions. We called it here on the show.
Yeah.
Michigan don't have to duck us anymore, so we don't have to worry about that.
Michigan ducked us. They're like, we're going to lose because we don't want to get embarrassed in the championship game, so we'll just lose. And
yes.
They didn't want to face the Illini. Illini would have had something for their ass on if they would have played the championship game. You know what? And I stand corrected. I shouldn't say stand corrected. I had to back off because I did remember, University of Illinois were not the regular season champions. Okay. They lost by 1,000th of a percentage point, if I'm not mistaken. And however, this was voted on. This was voted on by the schools, by the conferences, that this is going to go by percentage points. So if this was voted on and this was ratified by the schools, then okay. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it sucks that they didn't get to play Michigan a second time, because had they beat them a second time, they would have swept the series and definitely won the regular season title. Okay, but this is what they voted on. Let Michigan, don't get me wrong, Michigan's still a great team.
Right.
Let them have the regular season, but when it comes down to tournament time, and this is what to me is what's so important, is now you're going in battle tested. Right. You're going in battle tested. Oh, no, nobody laid down for you. Nobody laid down for Illinois. Ohio State damn sure didn't lay down for him in the championship game yesterday. They took him to overtime. This is what Illinois needs. They need to stay sharp, and you want to go into the tournament. You got 6 wins. You need 6 wins. There's six left, and the first person to 6 is going to standing holding that trophy, and the University of Illinois is hoping to be one of those teams.
That's correct. And shout out to my man Andre Capello, who was out there killing New York City style, PG finest. He had the game going. He was looking like a little Penny Hardaway out there, making
Penny.
I love the kid, man. He reminds me of those throwback 90 players, man. He plays
Kenny Patterson, Rod Strickland. What are you talking about? Like those type of
guys? It's just a list, man. It's just a list, man. Rod Strickland, I could call him out. Penny Hardaway, those 90s guys who just knew how to run the team. And he plays with a lot of confidence. He finished with 16 points. They actually had 3 guys finished with 16 points in Ayo Dosunmu, along with Kofi Coburn and Andre Capello, who I thought was the MVP of yesterday's game for closing out with the big win.
Man, I'll tell you what, this Illini team was just awesome. Look, here's Kofi with the and one. I'm gonna dunk it on your head. Watch your head, and I'm gonna get the foul call. You know what? This team was they're explosive. They're so exciting, so fun to watch. And I'm not going to give I'm not going to take anything from Ohio State. Ohio State put up a good fight. All right, they were down by 17 early. They came back, they tied it, they took the lead, and they were going back and forth with the lead a couple of times. And it was awesome. It was just a great game to watch. But you know what, Illinois, you saw them pull it out late, and I'll tell you what, it was fun to see, especially when you're dealing with Chicago teams, okay, Illinois teams. When you see teams that they tend to. How many times have they folded in crunch time?
Yeah.
And we would get a little frustrated, because we want them to we want a team to close out, and we couldn't. Okay. Right. And it did get a little close. It's, obviously going to overtime, but in overtime, the Fighting Illini said, you know what? We got to remember who the hell we are, and they did.
And I like the fact that they beat EJ Liddell because EJ, he was recruited by the Fighting Illini. He's from Illinois, and he chose Ohio State over the Fighting Illini because he thought they were going to be a better team. But at the end of the day, he started off his first 2 seasons with the advantage. But what he's watching right now, he could have been a part of that. So we beat them not once, but twice. We beat them last week, and then we had to beat them again in the Big Ten Tournament Championship, which was very clutch. And I know Ayo DeSomo, he's been playing with that mask on, so it's been hard for him. He's been a little bit timid when it comes to, initiate contact because he's normally more aggressive than he is. I guess he was playing yesterday. He was trying not to get hurt because a lot of the Ohio State guys, was pushing him in the air, not consistently, but they were pushing him in the air. So he needs that contact. And then last but not least, I think the Fighting Illini have one of the toughest schedules in college basketball, like as far as the difficulty of opponents that they've played from start to finish. And they have been battle tested, and it's not going to get any easier from here on out.
No, it's not going to get any easier at all. And after the victory yesterday, it was fitting that they got a number 1 seed. They were rumored to have a number 1 seed anyway, but if we all knew if they came out with the Big Ten Tournament Championship, the title, they were going to get a number 1 seed. So when there was no surprise that these guys got a number 1 seed. And I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to it. The one thing that I'm not looking forward to is the way that they screwed us Illinoisans, because the Loyola University in Chicago, LUC, Loyola University, and Porter Mosley, they're in the same bracket, they will meet in the second round, and that really stinks. Yeah. That really stinks. I would have rather them sent them somewhere else, because I think Loyola has a really good team, and I would hate to see that good team get knocked out. I'm from Illinois, so I am a little biased. I am a little pissy about it. Send them somewhere else so they can go knock somebody else off. Right. I don't think they're going to knock off the Illini. Okay, if they do, that'd be a huge upset. Right. But I don't want to see Loyola exit so early.
Right, and not at the hands of our own state. That's cannibalism. I don't want sports cannibalism where you eat up the little guy. And I'm not saying actually Loyola has had more success than Illinois in the past 15 seasons. So they made it to the Final Four and lost to Michigan State that year. So my whole thing is we're not taking them for granted either.
No, not at all.
Because they're pretty good, and they got the big man down low. He does well around the basket, and I don't think he's afraid of Kofi. And we're not going to even overlook our first round opponent.
No,
the thing is that anybody can be beat in the field of 68 or the field of 66. So I'm not putting nothing past anyone. We're not calling them underdogs, nothing like that. Everybody has a chance to win the tournament.
Yeah, Drexel is their first round opponent, guys. In case you were wondering, Illinois faces Drexel. They take them on Friday, 12:15 at the Farmers Coliseum. And one thing that they're doing this year, which I thought is a pretty cool idea due to COVID, is all the games in the NCAA tournament are being played within the state of Indiana. So you're at the Farmers Coliseum. You got Hinkle Fieldhouse. Where else? The Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Lucas Oil Stadium. So they're looking they're using everything, Mackey Arena as well. So they're using every arena that they can, and this way they can kind of quarantine the teams and the players in hotels nearby. Interesting. That's very interesting. And that's something that has to be done due to the fact that, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Wow. And you would really hate to have a team miss out. Now, there are some crazy rules. So, for example, if a COVID outbreak happens at one of those teams that made it, okay, say it's a tournament champion, okay, a tournament champion, then what will happen? This is before, because once the tournament starts, then there's no more substitutions. But if there's a tournament champion that has to bow out due to COVID restrictions, then the tournament will send another representative. Okay.
Right. We have the reserve teams that will replace the teams that can't play. But one thing I can say about all of this, when it comes to Indianapolis, I know they call it Naptown. Mm-hmm. I know for sure after all of these great games that we're gonna watch, man, they no longer can call it Naptown, because actually it's gonna be one of the most exciting times in that city. So so shout out to them for putting it all together and making it happen.
Yeah, that's a great thing for them to be able to do that in the state, and just keeping everything trying to keep everybody safe and healthy and free from the virus that's crippling, or that's crippled a lot of people, and it's really done quite a number on a lot of people that we know and some people close to us. So good job for them. Let's go to the next top of the morning topic. The next top of the morning topic is our Bulls, our Bullies, baby. Our Bulls beat the Toronto Raptors yesterday. Let me tell you, it was 118-95, and it was in overtime. However, they went off in overtime. 9, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. 9 Bulls were in double figures yesterday. And you know what? They were not led by Zach LaVine. They were led by the rookie, P. Will. He's the intern at the law firm of Sato and Young. To borrow Stacyism. I'll tell you what, Patrick Williams had a career high 23 points. Lauri Markkanen and Kobe White each dropped in 13 for the Bulls as they manhandled in overtime the Toronto Raptors, as I said, 118-95.
Yes, well, they were putting a hammer down on the Toronto Raptors yesterday. There was no fear. As you can see, Denzel Valentine talking to nobody on the sideline but making his shots, which is so important. And I thought they won in regulation. I thought they run over a 4-court period, but they pretty much dominated the game at halftime. I think they were up by 58-49, and they assisted on 19 of their first 20 field goals. So that's an amazing feat. And then last but not least is what I've been talking about all along.
Tell him, Joe.
Wendell Carter Jr., okay? Wendell Carter Jr. have a seat, okay? Finally, after 113 games, someone decided to sit him down. And it took Billy Donovan to do that because he realized that, you know what, young man, until you grow up, until you get a little more courage in your heart, you can't be the cowardly lion out there when somebody coming at you. This is not the Wizard of Oz. You have to come out there and play hard, and you're getting a paycheck to do that. Along with Kobe White, who continues to turn the ball over consistently, he had to have a seat too. But they both responded well. I have to give it to them coming off the bench, and they looked better in their second unit. And I love starting Thad Young, like I said last week.
Thaddeus.
You put Thaddeus back in that lineup, and Lauri was this close for getting benched too, because I'm just like, if you're not going to play both ends of the floor, have a seat. And I think the only reason why Lauri was still in the lineup because what's the guy? Garrett Temple was hurt. Yeah, so Lauri's next. He watch your back, because I'm telling you now, Billy Donovan he's like, we're trying to get to the playoffs. Yes, we're trying to develop young players, but like Kendall Gill said yesterday, if the young players are making mistakes, guess how you're going to develop? You're going to develop from the bench watching. Okay, we're not tolerating that. Oh, they're just young. No, you have to grow up. Okay, This is a man's game. This is not high school or this is not college. You're getting paid to do a job. If you can't do the job, have a seat on the bench. Bottom line.
Well, listen, the one thing that I was really happy about, you mentioned it, Joe, there's 35 of their 44 field goals were assisted on.
Wow.
35 of the 44 baskets were assisted on. That's phenomenal ball movement. That's finding the open man. That's just playing great team basketball. You know, I remember those the one that Stacy and Adam Amin were talking about. It was a beautiful pass from they call him Thad, or Stacy calls him Thaddeus Johnson. Thaddeus. Thaddeus Johnson was a no-look pass to Kobe White coming on the baseline. And then Kobe passed it out. They swung the ball around. They hit a three, but they're like, "No, man!" I said, "Kobe, you got to take that. You got to hit that layup because that was a great no-look pass by Thaddeus Young." But the way the balls are moving, the way the Bulls were moving the ball yesterday was clinic-like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they rotated and rotated, and boom, 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 and there were times that most of the time Toronto was just one guy short. They just moved it. They did 3 passes, 4 passes if necessary, 5 passes if necessary. Found the open guy, and you know we had a wide open 3 or wide open look at the basket, and that's what you want. And if they can continue to do that, man, oh man.
And they beat Toronto at their own game. You know, like that's what Coach Nurse loves to do. He likes for them to move the ball, everybody eating, everybody sharing, and when our hot guy gets off within the flow of the offense, then fine, okay? And Zach LaVine humbled himself yesterday. That's another thing, because Patrick Williams was our leading scorer. He had an amazing game yesterday, so shout out to P. Will, a.k.a. Pat, putting that ball down on people's head, dunking on grown men. That's how you do it, Wendell Carter Jr. Patrick Williams is a 19-year-old kid, and he's telling them, look, my mama and daddy gave me this body, and I'm going to use it, okay? I was blessed with this body, and I'm dunking on your head. I don't care what you got to say. So
coming hard or ain't coming at all.
Coming hard or don't come at all, okay? Bottom line.
Hey, Joseph, talk about this response, though, because you saw coming out of the All-Star break the previous game, which
previous 2 games, yeah.
It was a I wouldn't say lackluster performance. It just seemed like they were still sleeping. If you
right,
they were still on vacation. Their bodies still weren't fully back into it.
Right,
they took an L. This game, in response to that, I was just impressed. Like they just took out a red. They made a vet and Kyle Lowry.
Right.
Be teed out, double team.
Man. Is it pouty like a little baby?
They were able to frustrate a veteran like that.
Right.
So, he had to get thrown out the game like that. That's a great response. But, what Arliss is saying, is Pat Williams rookie of the year? They snubbed him from the All-Star game. You know what
rookie
I mean?
Game,
All he's done is start pretty much every game for us. You know what I mean? He's contributed. He's gotten better every single game. He does what the coaches ask him to do. That's rookie of the year quality to me. I don't know. What's your opinion?
Well, I have to say this. I know he's definitely in the conversation. I don't know if they're gonna actually name him rookie of the year because of the way how inconsistent the Bulls are, and not to take anything away from Charlotte because they're inconsistent also. But I think they're gonna give it to LaMelo Ball just because of the simple fact that he was the 3rd overall pick, and the branding that comes with that. I think it's gonna go to him based on that alone. Now, the kid from Minnesota, I mean, he's been going off the past 7 or 8 games, dunking on people. He talking trash to Melo, doing Melo's little. You know how Melo pointed his head when he shoots the 3. He was mocking Melo, So I think it's Anthony Edwards, So he's actually playing well also. So P. Will, if he can finish strong, man, still a lot of games left, and he can actually turn it around. And I think he can win Rookie of the Year. He put up a few more 20-point performance consistently, and help us get to the playoffs, man. He can definitely be considered. Now, like when you talked about the response and them coming off the bench, is that correct, Ivan? The way I'll answer that is this:
just a response after losing a blowout fashion to the game previously.
Oh yeah, it's called Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan let them know, look, okay, I'm glad you guys don't care, because guess what? You're on the bench today, all right? There's nothing else to talk about. If you don't want to do what I tell you to do, you want to come out here and scratch your head, Wendell Carter Jr., like, I don't know what's going on. No, you can't play that stupid stuff with us no more. We know that you're not dumb. You have a high IQ. You went to Duke. You're not stupid, okay? We know that you're smart. And Kobe White, now I understand with Kobe White that they forced him to play a position that he shouldn't have played, which is point guard. We needed to put Sato in that lineup to balance out that attack, and I'm glad he finally did that. But one thing I don't want to happen to Kobe White is for him to lose his confidence in scoring and his scoring ability. So I'm kind of glad he was still able to get his shots off yesterday.
Yeah, he was. Listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hi, this is George Iceman Gervin. I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. It was a 118-95 win for the Bulls last night at home over the Raptors. 9 players in double points, led by Patrick Williams, who had 23. Wendell Carter Jr. with a double-double, 12 points and 11 rebounds. Zach LaVine with 15 for the 17 and 20 Bulls. We're back home tomorrow night against the Thunder, Chicago 10th in the Eastern Conference. The Blackhawks visit the Panthers tonight. Chicago coming off Saturday's 4-2 loss against Florida. It's the second of 6 straight against Florida teams. They'll play at Tampa Thursday and Saturday, then return home Tuesday night for a pair against the Panthers. Spring training on Sunday, the Cubs and Angels played to a 1-1 tie. The White Sox shut out Oakland 1-0. 3:05 first pitch this afternoon between the Cubs and the White Sox. The Sox are the home team. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey, James, that order just doubled. We got to move fast here.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Somebody pick up that phone.
Like at Luca's Gourmet Frozen Pizza Company. To operate at scale, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. You see, I'm here with my guy, Joseph Phillips. We're in the smack dab in the middle of our top of the morning segment, our first hour of the show. You know, Joe sits in with me every show, and we talk our hot topics from the night before. Or just with sports in general, we're talking to Bulls. And, you know, I'll tell you what, this one last thing before we move on to the more different sports. Billy Donovan is the guy. He's the guy. You know, we're worried about sometimes we get to we'll get a coach or manager and say, hey, maybe he's the stepping stone, okay, to the next guy to take us to the ship. This is the guy. This is the guy. You know, I love his assessment of players. I love his willingness to do anything. You know what you remember what he said? He goes, we're not starting off with energy, so I need a different lineup. I need to change stuff up because we can't come out slow continually and dig ourselves out of a hole. We're not that good.
Right.
So, you know what? He's not averse to do anything. And here's one thing I'm going to tell you. Just remember this. Just remember this. Remember this. You heard it here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago. Billy Donovan has a tendency to make the sum much bigger than and much greater than the parts. Okay. Remember, he was at University of Florida. Okay. That little school, the last school to win a national championship in football and basketball the same season. Okay. Name any superstars on that team. Not stars, superstars. There weren't any. Right. Yes, you had Joakim Noah. Yes, you had Corey Brewer. Yes, you had Tito Horford. But those aren't superstars. Those are all really good players, stars.
That's right.
Okay. So they had no superstar. Okay. but he's able to get them to play better than their individual talents. And now when you're dealing with stars and they're playing above that in a team concept, that means you have a chance because there's nobody you can zone in on. There's nobody you can double team.
Right.
Okay, even on that Florida team, if you double team Tito Horford, he's going to Corey Brewer. You know, double team Corey Brewer, then you're going to Joakim Noah, and they would just go back and forth. Who's the man open?
That's right.
Same thing with his Bulls team now. He just has to find which pieces are fitting.
Right.
Because he sees what these guys can do. Like, okay, great. Kobe White can carry this team for a little bit. We know Zach LaVine can carry this team. He's been carrying it for a couple of years.
Right.
He sees the development of Patrick Williams.
Right.
Maybe with the move to a second team, maybe Lowry can be that dude. Imagine, Joe. Imagine we have the bench mob 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. You got Kobe White, Denzel Valentine, and Lowry Marketing on the second unit.
Right.
Like, who can stop that unit? Like, now you go in and your job, your second unit is a score.
That's right.
That's your job.
You
Score
the ball.
Score. Hey, Kobe, I know you don't like shooting.
Yeah.
Score.
Score. Right. Yeah. Kobe don't like a shot he never took. Man. This man is a North Carolina all-time leading scorer. Okay. Yep. He can score with the best of him. It's just a matter of when you score and how you're scoring. And like I said, what sealed everything, and I'm kind of glad that Wendell Carter Jr. told him himself in the press conference, because he was like, I don't know what to do. Like Snuffleupagus, like nobody likes you. So then he was like, okay, you're gonna like go into a depression because you didn't work on your layups in practice.
Joe.
Starters.
We got it's a new generation. Like the generation of players that me and you dealt with and grew up playing with and against. It's not it. They're gone. Those are relics. They're in museums. Okay, they're gone. Here's the problem. Like now you have to say, listen, Wendell, don't worry, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. All right, listen, you're really good. You are somebody. You are somebody. You are okay. And Billy Donovan, you can tell Billy Donovan's frustrated. He's like, I ain't gonna kiss your ass. All right, I'm an old school. I'm like, look, I need you to play. I know you're 19 years old. I know you're 20 years old, but guess what? You're in the man. You chose to come in the NBA now.
That's right.
Okay, so I need you to, and maybe not be a superstar, but you better develop.
And I'm gonna make you into a man.
And tell him, Joe. Tell him.
He said, son, have a seat.
Hey, that's tough love.
He said, have you ever seen a man get punched in the face? It was like Scared Straight. Remember Scared Straight, son?
Yeah, I remember Scared Straight.
That's what Dwight Howard had him. I was just going to mention Dwight Howard had him Scared Straight the game before. Justin, we were talking about that, and I think I forgot. I think Bellissimo had mentioned Daniel Gafford, and we were talking about how Daniel Gafford had a little rough spell, and then he overcame that. We're talking about Wendell has never overcame that. Wendell was lost. He looked like a child trying to play up against a grown man.
He went back to childhood. He started braiding his hair. I was like, what are you doing, Mom? He's not here to save you. This is a man's game. Send it in, Jerome. Send
it in, Jerome.
And he came out and responded yesterday.
Yeah, you know what? And I'll tell you what. Billy Donovan's the man. So, and if we can just get Daniel Gafford off the bench, imagine those three, because that's a dude that I really, really, really like is Gafford. But he's got to get his head out of his ass, and you know he got some time the other day, not yesterday, but the game before, and literally within the first 20 seconds he dunked on somebody. Like that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. And you know what? And I think Billy saw that and said, you know, I'm gonna sit him again. Right. Just because you know what, just to piss him off more. So when he gets in the next game, and the next game they play, he'll be like, no, don't sit my ass down again. Watch this, coach. Watch this, because they don't play again till tomorrow. They got OKC. They got OKC tomorrow at home. The next two games are at home, so they got OKC at home. And you know what? And maybe he's gonna come out with that second unit. Maybe he's gonna come out firing, dunking on people again, rebounding, blocking shots, because that's your game.
That's right.
Daniel Gafford, that is your game, period. We're not running pick and roll with you. Actually, no, we do, because we're going to pick and lob because you're rolling and we're alley-ooping it to you. But we're not setting – the offense doesn't run through you. You got to get the dirty work. You got to rebound. You got to box out. You got to put them back in, get and ones. That's how you're going to get your points. Block shots and run the court. All right, we're not setting up plays for Daniel Gafford. You got to get in where you fit in, and you know how to score, Daniel, and that's by blocking the shots, running down the court, okay, tip dunks, rebounding, all these things, all the dirty work that a lot of people don't like to do. That's what you got to do. That's what's going to get you a big contract on your second contract.
That's right, and it turns you from a boy to a man. You're earning your money, and that's what Billy Donovan is doing right now. He's evaluating the roster, and he's saying, okay, no more phony baloney stuff. All of this, I'm about to go hardcore New York City, Long Island. It is after the All-Star break. I'm going to give you honest feedback, honest evaluations. Listen here, Kobe. I know you can score the ball, but guess what? You're coming off the bench tonight. Listen here, Wendell Carter Jr. I know that you were projected to be the next Al Horford, but I haven't seen it yet. So guess what? You're coming off the bench tonight. And if anybody else got a problem with that, guess what? You're coming off the bench tonight. I'm not afraid to bench you because I will if I have to. So get it together, Bulls, because this year's team needs to compete.
It does. It does. And ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right.
Hey, let's move on to the next top of the morning topic. Allen Robinson, A-Rob, has been tagged with the franchise tag. And according to reports, he has zero plans to sign this franchise tag anytime soon, which means he can do one or two things. So he's legally, he doesn't have to show up to without signing the tag. He doesn't have to show up to OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp. Doesn't have to do that. He's got until week 10, if I'm not mistaken, to sign it. Otherwise, he forfeits the entire. So he'll basically have a year without income. I'm okay with this. If I'm him, I'm going to say, look, who's throwing me the ball?
Right.
Who's throwing me the ball?
Right.
Because if you get some busted out there, I don't know. I'll sit out a year and you know what I'm saying? I'm gone.
Right.
I'm gone. So it's just a strategy. It's a strategy for the Bears to tag him and hopefully they can sign him long term. But him and his agent are sitting back. They're like, okay, who are you signing? Who's going to throw me the ball? Who's throwing it to me? And I ain't mad at you, Papa. I ain't mad at you, A-Rob. I am not mad at you because you know what? Your entire career from college to the pros, you've not had a great quarterback.
Right.
Let's get you a great quarterback. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And A-Rod is pretty much saying to them, go give me a quarterback. And maybe I'll think about signing. But until then, deuces, okay? Holla at my agent because I'm not signing a thing, okay? And I don't blame him. Like I said, the Bears, their organization known for lowballing guys, just like the Bulls. I don't like that type of stuff because, like I said, I understood if Allen Robinson didn't produce this season, yes, then you go forward with that. But now that he produced and he proved to you and he patiently waited to negotiate after the season and you knew all along you were going to franchise tag him, that's bad business. Okay. No,
it's not bad business, bro. This is collectively bargained. So this is something that you can do. It's not like you snuck behind them and you didn't know that we can franchise tag you. You knew this. This is business. It's all part of negotiation. I want him locked up. So let's work on a long-term deal. Okay. We got you locked up now, so nobody else could come in. Okay. And then we got to fix everything else in our house and we'll show you. You know what I mean? It's not dirty. It's not dirty at all. Players don't like it, but this is collectively bargained. Because if it was that bad, the players wouldn't have voted that in. So it's okay. It's just not what the player wants. That's all.
It's okay with the Bears, but it's not okay with Allen Robinson. So his mentality is, okay, if you sign or if you trade for a Sam Darnold, I'm out. Okay, if you go out and bring in a Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm out. Peace. If you come in talking about Jameis Winston, famous Jameis, I'm out. I'm not doing it because I'm not about to go through this again.
Jameis threw for 5,000 yards 2 years ago. Come on, man. 5,000 yards.
Okay. Famous Jameis. Yes. 5,000 yards 2 years ago. God bless the man. But
he backed up Drew Brees.
I don't want the Bears bringing home any washed up guy. We need a real QB. If it ain't Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, We're not trying to hear that.
Deshaun Watson.
We're not trying to hear that. And Mark and Allen Robinson's the same way. He's like, okay, I'm waiting for Russ. I'm waiting for you guys to go get Russ. Now, if you go get Russ, maybe we could talk about an extension. Maybe we could talk about me signing that franchise tag. Because Russ going to put me in a position to succeed, and he's going to take our football team to another level. And in addition to that, they restructured those deals yesterday. Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson, and who was the third guy?
Oh, I didn't remember. Yeah, I posted that on Facebook.
Yeah, they opened up $23 million in cap space. So they're now finished moving around these contracts. So players are actually coming to because they want a quarterback. The defense is begging for a quarterback. The offense is begging for a quarterback. The bottom line, what is the mission statement for the Bears this season? Go get
a damn quarterback.
Period.
Get a damn quarterback.
White hair was the other guy.
Cody
Whitehair. Shout out to Cody. Thanks a lot.
Hey, listen. Next top of the morning topic. It's not Chicago news, but it's national news. And whenever a national story like this comes on, we got to talk about it. Drew Brees. Drew Brees retires after 20 seasons in the NFL, and it was just time. It was his first 5 seasons he spent with the San Diego Chargers, and this is why. See, and people are gonna start get on me, and I don't care because you don't know football if you get on me. Drew Brees in San Diego was okay. Okay, he was okay. He was okay to the point where they had to go draft Phillip Rivers. Okay, if Drew Brees was a stud that he was in New Orleans when he played with San Diego, they wouldn't have drafted Drew Rivers.
Right.
They wouldn't have. Okay, you just don't do that. Okay, so what happens is he got hurt going for a loose ball in right around his end zone, and his shoulder was weak. So he's a free agent. He goes and he signs with the Miami Dolphins. He goes and he fails his physical. That's with Nick Saban was coaching the Miami Dolphins at the time. So he fails his physical. So he can't sign. They can't sign him. He goes to New Orleans. New Orleans was basically the only other team that pretty much wanted him because remember he was one of the first short QBs. He's 5'10".
Right.
Okay. And so he's a short QB and he can't pass a physical. Nobody wants this guy. He had a unspectacular career in San Diego because they're the San Diego Chargers at that point. No, nobody signed. Nobody wants him, but Sean Payton wanted him.
Right.
Goes to New Orleans, passes their physical, and man, oh man, he becomes the reason he is revered in New Orleans because he was going to New Orleans when everybody was leaving New Orleans. Okay, that's right after Hurricane Katrina, and that's right after, and that city was in shambles. You talk about the explosion of the dam broke, but they're saying it was natural, and we won't get into my conspiracy theories. The levees, not the dams, the levees. Okay, and he took that team, he took that city, and he helped it to heal. Okay, took him to the NFC Championship game. Okay, won a Super Bowl. Remember, he lost to the Bears in a while, but won a Super Bowl with this team. Brought that city back to life, which is why he is revered in New Orleans. And he went on to his next stop. He's got one more stop. I know he's going to the booth already, but he's got one more stop, and that's Canton. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, hands down. 10,551 passing attempts, 7,142 completions, 80,358 yards, 571 touchdowns with a career passer rating of 98.7. He will be known as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. And I think he's arguably the most accurate quarterback to ever play in the NFL. Arguably. And this is at 5'10".
Wow.
So he went, and here's the thing that this shows you. You must develop a quarterback. You must give them time. Because if you would have gone by what Drew Brees did in his first 5 years in San Diego, you're like, well, this guy sucks. Get him out of here. He's short. He can't. Yeah, he's accurate, but he's short and he can't win.
Right.
Okay. And this is why, and I'm going to bring it back here. When you don't develop a quarterback, the most important position in professional sports, when you don't take the time to develop it, that position will suffer. And the people that you have at that position will suffer as well, a.k.a. Mr. Trubisky. And I'm not saying Mr. Trubisky was going to Canton. I'm not.
Right.
What I'm saying is he could have been a good quarterback, but they jagged him over because he had shitty quarterback development, from John Fox to Mr. Quarterback Guru himself, Matt Nagy. Only success he had was with Bill Lazor. And you and I both know that he's not going to be. Yes, you are an idiot, you son of a biscuit. Okay. The only reason we know that one of the reasons we know that Mitch doesn't want to come back, because he knows Matt Nagy's calling the plays this year, okay, and not Bill Lazor, because Bill Lazor had him in check. Bill Lazor had him playing the best of his ability. So you look at Drew Brees and you say someone gave him a chance. Like, look, I can help this guy. That was Sean Payton. Here in Chicago, I'm not even going to bring it back to Chicago. Let's just stay with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. So Drew Brees gets to New Orleans, and he's got a quarterback guy who took time to develop him, who took time to use his skill set to the best of his ability, and that's what he did. And now, 507. Remember, there was a time him and Brady were going back and forth, the leader in career touchdown passes. No, he's 571 is where he's at now. Like, he finished with 571. And I'll tell you what, it was a pleasure to watch him. Even when he was with the Saints, when he was with the Chargers, I never hated him. As a fan, I never hated him.
Right.
I always had mad respect for him. I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's going into retirement. He had his kids say his retirement. He put that out. I thought that was so awesome. He's like, now we get to spend more time with Dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought that was so cool. So, hats off and shout out to Drew Brees on an amazing career with in the NFL, your two teams, and really giving the city of New Orleans what it needed when it needed it most.
Exactly. And in the words of my wife at Purdue,
alum.
Boil her up, baby. Boil her up.
Boil her up. So I played with Drew Brees' number one receiver.
Yeah.
Randall Lane was this guy. He's from Chicago. And so when I was playing with the Chargers, this guy comes out. So we're warming up, and this other receiver, Rashad, I can't remember his last name. Anyway, this was his boy. So Rashad played with us the year before, and then the next year he brought out his buddy Randall. And this dude looked like an NFL player. He was about my height, maybe a tad tall, maybe 5'11". He wasn't 6 feet.
Right.
But he came out looking. He looked at it, did like an NFL player. And he got cut with a couple teams, and this dude was stupid fast, dude. So we had him, and we actually lost in the championship game because one of the reasons we lost is he dropped the pass.
Oh.
And this guy, when he was by you, he was by it. And he very rarely drops a pass. That might have been like his only second pass he dropped all year.
Oh.
And he beat a good buddy of mine who's an actor now in LA, big time actor. A guy in Arduli. He runs right by him, and he's a good 6 yards past him, and Randall Lane drops it. I was like, oh, dude, that was gone. Because first of all, you weren't catching this dude. You weren't catching it. I hadn't seen that type of speed since college.
Right.
I hadn't seen that type of speed
running
since
like
college.
A 4.2, 4.3?
He's running a 4.3. Legit 4.3. It's like a 4.31, 4.32. He was stupid fast, dude. Stupid fast. Wow. And so he caught that. He'd still be running to this day. To this day. But yeah, and he would tell stories about him and Drew Brees, playing. And I was like, dude, that's nuts. That's nuts. But yeah, so I have a little connection to Drew Brees. I played with his number one receiver at Purdue here when I was here in Chicago playing for the Chargers. So that was crazy.
Wow. That is amazing. And shout out to Drew Brees, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. It was wonderful to watch his children send a nice little tribute and going out, because I think they showed one YouTube video. His children were in the front room. I guess they were playing football. He was throwing passes to them. So that's amazing. They get to be with their dad, and that's a beautiful thing. They was like, we want our daddy. We don't care what you guys are talking about. We want our daddy. So it was so beautiful to watch. And Drew Brees is definitely a first-class guy, Super Bowl champion, and a for sure Hall of Famer.
Hands down, first ballot Hall of Famer. First ballot Hall of Famer. Trust me, they're not gonna let him sit like they made T.O. sit.
Right. T.O. brought that on himself, though.
But you know what? No, he didn't bring it on himself. You know what? You had some cruddy old racist bastards who were voting on on that thing, and you don't vote on if he's a jerk or not, or if he, you vote on the numbers. Okay, and yes, the fact that you did. Here's the thing. They had the ability to stop him to postpone him, not from stop, to postpone his enshrinement, and they did. Okay, because they didn't like him. You know what? That's bullshit. Yeah. That's bullshit because the number everywhere he went, he was a winner. He was a winner everywhere he went.
I agree with Shawn. You cannot judge somebody because you don't like them as a person. Like this is their job. You're supposed to be judging them off their job, not of other activities. Like you have to stick to what you're meant to be doing, and that's judging them by the performance on the field. And T.O. was just lights out. I mean, T.O. was a 2,000-yard receiver at one point, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, T.O. was just dominating at a certain point in time. But for me, I feel like it was a bad snub. I know you got a safe face, but it was a bad snub. I don't think
they told T.O. get a T.O. baby. You know, get in here. But he, I look, man. I know you guys are saying what you're saying, man. But at the end of the day, T.O. was a distraction. He kept up a lot of trouble on the sideline. Asked Donovan McNabb. I know he
went after all his quarterbacks. He went after Jeff Garcia.
You already know, man. Like he knew what he did, and Skip Bayless called him out for doing it too. But at the end of the day, he's in there. You got to learn how to forgive and forget and move on. And thank God that you're in the Hall of Fame because you didn't have to.
No, not thank God, dude. No. He earned it. It's not like it was a gift. It's not like he shouldn't have been in. No, he got the numbers. It wasn't, he's lucky there. Thank goodness he got it. No, he deserved the numbers. And there's nothing that anyone can say to tell me that he did not have the numbers to get into the Hall of Fame.
I'm not disagreeing.
Don't say thank goodness he's in. He's like, no, he deserves to be in. Whether you like him or not, whether you like his flamboyant style, whether you like him being a little diva, because Lord knows he's a freaking diva. Whether you dislike the way he talked about his quarterbacks, whether you liked it or not, the fact of the matter is, when he was on the field, that Joker performed. Period. Why do you think he was like, throw me the damn ball? Why like Keyshawn Johnson, like, throw me the damn ball, just throw me the ball? Because you know why? He would get it. He'd get it. He'd have yak. He'd run after the catch. He scored touchdowns. He was the man.
That's right. And he didn't have 2,000 yards. I was thinking of AP for some reason. But
yeah, because I was like,
the yak and the touchdowns was very important.
Yeah, he was good. I'm gonna give it to him. But at the end of the day, he was crazy too. So,
Joe, you got a fan, Zach. Zach, what's up, Papa? Shout out to Joe.
What's up,
great guy.
Big Zach.
Hey, listen, we gotta go, Papa. Thank you so much, Joseph. We will see you on Wednesday. What are you writing about this week?
This week will be about our Big Ten champions, the Fighting Illini, clinching the Big Ten championship yesterday, along with a huge win by the Chicago Bulls, snapping their 2-game losing streak, and last but not least, the first African American golf firm to own a golf course. Out of the University Park Village, University Park Golf Club. So it's a female, it's a lady. She actually owns she's the only African American firm that own a golf course in the state of Illinois. So,
dude, that's awesome.
So
yeah, let us know when you write that so we can definitely repost that on SportsZone Chicago. All right.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. God bless.
Oh man, I'll catch you later, brother. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, my guy's coming up. Man, he was my first guy I ever sat in and did a radio show with, man. Crazy time 7 years ago. Actually, is Almost 7 years to the day. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Guys, now he's a producer over at ESPN 1000 right here in Chicago. We're going to talk U of I basketball, maybe a little Bulls basketball, just because he loves hoops so much. So don't go anywhere, guys. Shawn Davis coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Get out while you can. Don't get a sucker no statue. Give him guts. I told you I wasn't going away. You got your shot. Now give me mine. Why don't you get the hell out of there? Shut up, old man. I ain't going nowhere.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. It was a 118-95 win for the Bulls last night at home over the Raptors. 9 players in double points, led by Patrick Williams, who had 23. Wendell Carter Jr. with a double-double, 12 points and 11 rebounds. Zach LaVine with 15 for the 17 and 20 Bulls. We're back home tomorrow night against the Thunder, Chicago 10th in the Eastern Conference. The Blackhawks visit the Panthers tonight. Chicago coming off Saturday's 4-2 loss against Florida. It's the second of 6 straight against Florida teams. They'll play at Tampa Thursday and Saturday, then return home Tuesday night for a pair against the Panthers. Spring training on Sunday, the Cubs and Angels played to a 1-1 tie. The White Sox shut out Oakland 1-0. 3:05 first pitch this afternoon between the Cubs and the White Sox. The Sox are the home team. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey, James, that order just doubled. We got to move fast here.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Somebody pick up that phone.
Like at Luca's Gourmet Frozen Pizza Company. To operate at scale, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning in SportsZone Chicago on this House Music Monday. Man, listen, we just came off a great weekend, and today's gonna be 35 in the shy. God bless it. You know what? If you don't like the weather in Chicago, just wait 5 minutes. That sucker will change because man, it's supposed to snow tomorrow, and they get back up to 60. What the hell is going on here in the shy? Well, listen, I can tell you what's going on in the shy, man. The state of Illinois, Chicago, we're pretty happy right now. Our Fighting Illini, you can't say they got gypped out of the regular season tournament because this was agreed upon and they fell a few percentage points short. So they said, you know what, we'll make it up. And they went on to win the Big Ten tournament. I want to bring in a guy who's, man, I said he was the first guy I ever sat in with on a radio show when I started school back in 2014. Oh, my goodness. And, man, he's gone on. He's ESPN. He's a producer now over at ESPN 1000 right here in Chicago, right on State Street, that great street. And he's an alum from Morgan Park and from the University of Illinois. And you can find him on Twitter at SD2Mics. It's MICS. Guys, let's welcome to Shawn and Maya. Shawn Davis. Shawn, what's up, buddy? How are you, man?
My man, a super back. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, brother. I'm feeling good, man. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too, man. You took me back, man. I remember that first time you came in, super back. You are our main guy to talk football and NFL on the show, and yeah, it's good times, man. Everything is wonderful, and everybody has been blessed from that point on, and it's just good to see.
It is, man. It's been real good, and it's, man, we're so fortunate that, you know, the paths that we've taken, man. You're doing big things over at you're on WGN, and then you got the gig over at ESPN, and man, I was so happy for you. And I mean, I saw it, you know, when I first did, I saw the grind that you had, and it was second to none. And you know, we're right around the same age, so I think you're a year younger than me. And so, you know, game recognizes game, like you do. You and I did your thing. We're doing our stuff over here at SportsZone Chicago. And you know, it's just good to see people. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, you know what? I want to bring in he sits with me on Mondays and Fridays for the from the 10 to 11 o'clock hour. He's a little late today. He's probably dealing with the kids or something. But he's our boy. He's another dude who's stepping it up. He's moving on up to the east side with his new gig over at NBC Sports Chicago. He's the host of That Davis Show. You can find him on Twitter at That's Davis. Let's bring him on. Ken Davis. Ken, what's up, Papa?
So apologies.
What happened to you, man?
The daylight saving time happened to me. My son just hit me up. He's like, Dad, are you doing that show? And I'm like, yeah. Then he comes back in the room. He's like, Dad, it's 9:43. And it made me, and it's funny that you guys are talking about the soil and coming up. It made me think for ICB, which is IMS, I did, you have to do like those videos that you did on your own. I actually went because when I was going to the school, somebody stole the camera. So they wouldn't let us take the camera out.
Oh,
so
man.
I went and bought one. I just went and bought a camera at that point, right? And Ernie Scranton, who was a huge influence to Demaz and myself when we were at the school, I did this thing called Big Boy Pants. And my son, it looks like he's driving my truck. And it's real quick. It looks like he's driving my truck, but he's not. And it's about him growing into wearing real underpants. And it's called Big Boy Pants. And he's like, I wear big boy pants, right? And mind you, he's like 3 and now he's 12. And I thought about Big Boy Pants today, like, damn, because my young man is like, Dad, it's 9:43, right? And I'm like, oh, snap, right? I'm gonna get down here for Shawn. So I made my way down the steps or whatever. But yeah, and then with both Shawns, I should say, because Shawn Davis is he's one of the real ones that for some odd reason I have an affinity for. Like I love me some Shawn Davis, to say the least. He's been a big bro to me, you know what I'm saying, to say like that dude in the side of his car by his seat right there. It's been he's been like, you know what I'm saying? And it's weird because I remember talking to you maybe a month ago about the first time I think I saw you at the school. You were sitting in the lobby, what would be called the lobby section, and you had a suit on, I believe. I think you had a suit on or whatever. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? That is just weird. So that's why I'm running a tad bit late. I try not to run a tad bit late, but yeah, that's why today daylight saving times caught me slipping a little bit.
It did. It caught me too, but yesterday I just couldn't catch up. I just could not catch up. I had the Rona thing Saturday, but it just could not. There he is. He's back.
How was the Rona thing, Shawn?
It was good, man. It was good. It was a good time. We had one or two drinks. It was good. It was a good time. Music was off the chain.
Full of that Rona. Full of that
Rona. You're a fool, man. You're
Also, we were talking about Shawn. I forget, also preaching too. So you make sure we mention that because that's more important than anything that he does out there preaching.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? One day he's gonna be running that church. So shout out to my dude. I'll be out there giving him my tithes. When the Rona comes up a little bit, I have to venture to his church. No, I'm seriously. I try to go to my guy's church. I got to pull up, and it's weird. I'm sorry to do another connection. So my high school best friend, right? His grandmother used to be like, do you know Pastor Davis? And I'm like, what? And she used to give me these oils, and they actually worked, right? Because I tore my ACL in junior year, at the end of junior year. So by the time I got to college, I actually needed it because for some reason my knee started aching, right? And I tore my knee at the end of the final game, or the final week of practice, and then I got the surgery in February, and I came back for doubles the following year. And so she used to always tell me, and she used to go to a church right across the street from where she lived on 10 Trey, 103rd, for those that don't know what 10 Trey is. And she started going to another church. So about 3.5, 4 years ago, 3.5, I would say, I think Shawn, lucky enough to come on the show, he brought his beautiful daughter. I think he may have brought his beautiful daughter this time that goes to a wonderful school. See, I didn't say the school this time, Shawn. Goes to a wonderful school. She came and she sung on the show. But then I realized the Pastor Davis that she was talking about was actually Shawn's father. And she used to always be like, I reminded her of Shawn's father, right? The apostle, which is Wild Buns when you think. But then to find out like it was him when she kept saying that, because that church is by Corliss. You know, I think most of us play at Gately. You know what I'm saying? So it's right there. We used to pick up from right there or whatever. So that was but again, I've always had an affinity for Shawn. Our connection, for us not to have spent a lot of time together, has always been somewhat unique. And I always appreciate Shawn for being a big bro.
Actually, man, it's all love, whether it's you. Shawn, you guys know, man, I've shared this with Ken. You know, I'm blessed to be at the point that I am with the hustle that I did put in. Understand that the game we're in, for the most part, is a young man's game. And when I came in, I think the influence, Ken, you spoke about, Ernie Scadden was that influence for me as well. But I had a clear vision of what my path would be, and that my time in this game would be short-lived, because ultimately being a shepherd was going to be my long-term goal and my long-term purpose, and I always knew that. So I'm just blessed, man, to just be able to talk to you guys today, to be able to be in the position I am at ESPN. And you know, while I'm in this business and in this industry, I just plan to open doors and give platform to other people. That's why I had no problem, you know, seeing the super back and saying, man, jump on the show, or seeing you and Demons and saying, come on, jump on the show, because that's what it's all about, you know.
Man, we appreciate it, and that's actually why we started SportsZone Chicago, man. There's this Chicago sports talk radio, actually 3, but no one really knows about the third one, WCKG. Right. But there just wasn't enough opportunity for people to have their voice heard, and there were very talented people like Ken and DeMons and other people that just couldn't find a spot because it was landlocked. They had their people, and they were doing well for them. So we're like, you know what? And that's why we started this, man. And we want to give them an opportunity, give them a platform to show what they got. And if they didn't get a chance, it's not because you didn't get an opportunity. You did. And so that's why we did. We wanted to do this. We wanted to give other people a chance, and that's why we're doing it, man. We're loving it, and it's great, man. And what I'm really loving is your hat, bro. I'm loving that.
Rep, right?
I love it.
2 o'clock today. 2 o'clock today, you can catch us on ESPN 1000, White Sox baseball. You know, yeah. So we on the way to that title, man.
Man, tell me, it's been a long time coming, and I'm telling you, it's been, as Sox fans, we're all 3 of us are Sox fans. Sorry, Ivan. All 3 of us are Sox fans, and we know we've been through the struggle, we've been through the wars, we've been through the heartbreaks, and just one bleak of hope in 05 was it, and after that,
right.
You know,
you're a fool, man. Nobody watched more minor league Sox baseball than Shawn Davis.
Man,
all right. If you didn't follow his Twitter, during when all these guys was coming up, you're like, "Oh, Lou Bob just knocked that one out the park." Nobody.
Who was it? Was it Lou Bob or was it Eloy that knocked out the light like the natural? Was it Lou Bob?
It was Lou Bob. Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, "You got to be kidding me! Like, this dude is a freak! Like, this is literally from the book, The Natural, literally from that book." And man, it's going to be, even though it's going to be limited capacity this year, at least at the start, it's still going to be a phenomenal year. I can say this honestly: there have never been expectations this high for a White Sox team ever. We didn't have 05. They snuck up on us. They came and they just went with it. We weren't expecting it. There's never been expectations because there's like
close lockout year, close.
Lockout year,
close.
Yeah,
lockout year, which probably would have been a phenomenal World Series, because people talk about the first half that the White Sox had that year, but in the National League, you know, you had Montreal with Larry Walker and those guys. They were phenomenal as well.
Yep.
You know, so that would have been a great World Series. I think the year after the World Series, once they got Tomei,
yeah, and he hit a homer the opening night in the rain, and
expectations were really high. But I think you just said something, and it just clicked in my mind. 2005 was a pretty great year here in Chicago from a sports standpoint.
It was.
The Illini,
yeah, and that's one hell of a segue.
Yeah, that was a great year.
That's one hell of a segue, and you know what? And you are a U of I alum. You are also a Morgan Park alum, and there's a guy who's pretty damn good on that team who's from Morgan Park. Give me your thoughts on first of all, them not winning the Big Ten championship regular season, and then coming back and actually handling business. Took them to overtime yesterday, But in overtime, man, they you know what it looked like? It looked like they kind of coasted because they had such a big lead, and overtime they turned that shit up like boom, like bump this, we out.
What I think you saw from Ohio State and Illinois, who have played 3 incredible games, and if they meet again, it will be in the semifinals at the Final Four. I can watch that again for a 4th time.
I didn't want them in that bracket. I didn't want them in that bracket yesterday. I said, y'all go over there.
They played incredible basketball games, 2 gritty teams. And for Illinois, I really didn't care about the regular season championship. I think you can see what Michigan's going through, what Ohio State went through, losing Young due to concussion protocol, and homage for Iowa, the big man to back up the Garza. I just wanted to be healthy. Going into the tournament. I didn't care about the regular season. I really didn't care about the tournament championship either, because we had locked up a number 1 seed. It was just a matter of would we be the 4th number 1 or the 3rd number 1 with Michigan. That was the only thing that was up for grabs. And so from that standpoint, I'm very happy with the development of this team. Early on, we saw the flaws. They turned the ball over a lot. And teams that had size, especially at the 4 position, I think you saw it yesterday with the day Sewing had. He was able to take Granderson and Williams at times down to the box, score. He had a big game and led the charge along with Washington with that comeback. But I think you saw the arc right after the Michigan State game. The arc started to go up. They lost Io. And this is why this is important. They lost Io, and then they beat Wisconsin. Then they go on the road and give Michigan, an embarrassing loss at home.
Man.
And then they're at their peak right then. They're playing peak ball, and they're playing it without Io. And that's what changed the direction for me. That elevated everybody else.
Yep.
Especially the role players. And once Io returned, now you start to see the fulfillment of what Brad Underwood thought this team could be. If you had told me a month ago that Io was going to shoot 36% from the field in the semifinals and the finals of the Big Ten tournament, I tell you there's no way Illinois wins either of those games. Either, just based upon the way they were playing. But the injury to Io was a blessing in disguise. It really was. And the opportunity it gave Adam Miller to step up, the opportunity it gave Andre Cabello to step up, and Monte Williams, asserting his senior leadership in the midst of Io's absence, just galvanized this team and allowed them to really see how good they were. And now they know we don't need Io to be great to win. Like, if he's great, we're going to win. But if he's not great and he's not knocking down shots, because Io's such a great player, people don't even realize that Io led the Big Ten in assists. It's not even talked about.
Yeah, you're right.
Brad Underwood brought it up on Saturday. Like, everybody talks about him closing games, scoring points, but no one talks about the fact that he led the Big Ten in assists. No one talks about that. 9 rebounds on yesterday, 9 rebounds against Iowa, almost had a triple-double against Iowa, and he wasn't shooting well. And it's just like, when you have that type of guy that's willing to do anything, and he's unselfish until it gets to the end of the game, then he becomes very selfish. Yeah, we saw that in the championship game. He took some bad shots. I think he settled a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't mind him having that Kobe mentality. I don't. Like, he's going to go down with him missing that shot, and I'm cool with that. I would much rather him have the Kobe mentality than the LeBron mentality. But that's
like a Reggie Jackson mentality.
Right.
Hey, guys.
That's Ken's player comp. That's Ken's player comp for Io.
Is it Reggie Jackson?
That's been listed on draft boards outside of me, but you shamed me on our text thread with Tony. But
man, that's so disrespectful.
Hey guys, we're joined by Shawn Davis, producer over at ESPN 1000 here in Chicago, talking a little Fighting Illini basketball on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago. People aren't talking about Io's his game that way. And I think that goes to show that's a good precursor to him and how well I think he's going to do in the NBA, because if he's one guy, and this is a maturity thing, because when you realize that you're not shooting well, you there's two sides of the court, and there's other things you can do. And when scorers and just scorers are off, oftentimes, Carmelo Anthony, they tend not to play defense. They tend not to rebound. They tend not to do other things. And when you find a guy like this who's most likely going to be a first-team All-American, and he says, "Listen, I can affect the game on both ends of the court. I don't have to score." That's a mature guy that you talked about, and that's a guy that teams are going to want in the NBA.
You know, one of the things that people don't understand, and I have to give shout out to the Mac Irvin conglomerate. You know how important that family is to Chicago basketball. Nick Irvin, who took the job as an assistant coach at Western Illinois, he's no longer the head coach over at Morgan Park. But when Ayo was a freshman and he was a heralded freshman, he had to take a back seat to Charlie Moore. He wasn't given the keys. So his development was being the defensive guy, being the point guard and the facilitator. And Charlie Moore was the guy that went out and got 30. And then when Charlie Moore graduated, he stepped up. And then guess who was his freshman and his sophomore to facilitate when Ayo stepped up? It was Adam Miller. So Adam Miller learned how to do other things until it was his time. And that's at the core of Ayo. He learned that. He's willing to go, even though Washington was in his zone yesterday. I was like, yeah, this dude, I didn't want to see him shoot the ball at all. Because I felt like as soon as he let it go, it was going in. I don't care where he shot it from. If he shot it from half court, I felt like it was
going in.
That.
Yeah, he was on one yesterday. He was on one.
Trent, when he gets in a zone like that, Trent Frazier is a great on the ball defender, but he just doesn't have the length and height to really bother his shot. And he got in a zone, and I was happy that Ayo stepped up at the end of the game and told Brad Underwood, "I got him."
Yeah, I did see that. That's that COVID mentality you're talking about. Like, no, I'm gonna lock his ass down. I got him.
Yeah,
I got him.
Do whatever I have to do to win this game.
Yeah.
And that's what we have in this kid. So that was just a shameless plug for Morgan Park too.
While we're plugging, he's also a Beasley alum, so you can throw that in there too, Shawn.
Oh, there you go.
Beasley Academic Center.
He's a Beasley.
Want to hear something? Here's the thing: as my mom almost put me there because who was the principal, Mr. McInerney, Mr. When you went there, there was a guy there. Might have been when we were a little younger. There was a white guy there because we were about the same age. So it was way back like in 4th grade or 5th grade.
Yeah.
Teacher that my mom worked with. My mom worked at Flower. Her husband was a principal there for a little bit. And it's like, oh, you should send your son here. Because remember they did a thing on Channel 7, Reading, Writing, and Violence was a thing at that school. And she's like, no, my husband's taking it over, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I ended up almost going to Beasley Academic Center.
Well, you would have went there. The projects would have been across the street, so you was straight. Your mom was like, "Slow down."
Ian can speak to this. I will forever, tip a cap to Beasley. The one thing they turn out are hoopers and dimes.
Yeah, like I mean, there's a reason why I mentioned that school, and I won't say it for the weirdos out there. But
it's literally a straight feeder into Whitney Young and Kenwood.
Right.
I think we had a guy at Rita from Beasley, Marcellus. Oh, he would have been a year older than you. I can't, because you would remember the name because obviously you would have played with him. So maybe he didn't go to Beasley. Okay, but
look, let me ask you this, Shawn.
Yep.
What should we expect from this team in the tourney, right? But also it's twofold. I want your expectations. I know with AO that, what I'm saying, and the biggest comp is always Drew Holiday. And the reason I said Reggie Jackson that day is because everyone says Drew Holiday, and I didn't want to take the Drew Holiday one, which you put in my face. These are jokes. But with him and Kofi, what's your expectation for them when they go to the league after this season? But also, what's your expectation for this team now that it's sniffed the tournament? And as you just pointed out, without Ayo, how they had to step up. So now these guys are battle tested when those two guys aren't with them next season.
Yeah, yesterday was the perfect game you want as a coach going into the tournament. That's the type of tournament type game to get your team ready to say, okay, this is the springboard for the NCAA tournament. And both of those guys, is you know what, we understand how all of us have had to endure during the pandemic and losing people we know, loved ones, and it's just been a tough time mentally and physically for some. And we hope that we're coming out on the other end of this and we can continue to get back to some sense of normalcy. But if it doesn't happen, it's a great possibility that both of these kids are already in the NBA because they had already submitted their names for the process. And they didn't have an opportunity to work out and go through the combine and sit with teams and impress teams. So they decided to come back. And now we end up with this team that's making this push, to win a national championship. So because, we understand what we went through, I dare not call it a blessing because that's not a blessing. But, that's what led to this team being who they are. And I think both of them will have really good careers. The one thing about Kofi, I personally would like to see him come back one more year to work on his counter moves. Right now, he's all about power and the drops. And work on his counter moves. He's always going to struggle with free throw shooting just because when you have big hands like that as a big guy, it's just tough to get that touch and feel consistently.
But he did come through yesterday late for them too.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
yes, he did.
Hey.
Yes, he did.
Don't tell me how many you hit. Tell me when you hit him.
That's right. He came through big time. And then Ayo, for me, that's why I said the ceiling is Drew Holiday because he's that guy that's going to go out, do everything. And he knows how to play the game of basketball, which is a lost art. We talk about vertical jump. We talk about dunks. We talk about three-point shots. The lost art is knowing how to play the game. And this kid knows how to play the game. I mean, he's just been seasoned, taught well. You can see Nick Irvin, the system, and what he put in him and what he developed in this kid. And he works hard. He works hard. Wait a minute. Give me 1 second. I got to switch to my phone because my laptop's about to die right quick. Hold on. Let me switch. I apologize. Hold on.
No biggie.
Yeah.
Hey,
Go ahead, Shawn.
I said we're gonna I'll talk to Lance. Be like, hey, dude. I said Sean Davis gave your brother some love for helping Ayo out because. Hey, tell you what, that game yesterday was, man, that was the bomb, dude. That game yesterday, and it got a little tight going to OT. I was like, but in OT. Man, it looked. What happened is Illinois came up and it looked like they took their foot off the gas. They were just running clock. They're just letting the clock run down. Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Ohio State was just hot.
They were. It
was like what? Like, listen, that game yesterday made me say, and again, I do believe Illinois will beat them. I don't want to see them in this bracket.
No,
it's just like you don't want that game when you want your team to end up getting to the Final Four. It's like, you guys go over there.
Yeah.
We don't need you around. But one thing, Shawn, I want to ask you this, and it's along the lines of you just saying about basketball. And also make sure you always check out According to a Source with him, Chris, and Bryant. Because, Brian's always talking about basketball players.
Yeah.
And the thing, I wanted to get your question on this. What's your feeling on Cade Cunningham? Because mine's is like this because the Luka thing is kind of like Shuddy. I don't know if Shuddy's ever going to be like 240 solid. Like the thing with Luka is he's solid. Like he will get to where he wants to go because of his skill and how solid. But when this upcoming draft, who are the guys you keying in on, and how do you feel about Cade Cunningham because he gets the Luka Doncic comparison so often?
Okay, I'll start with the latter. The three guys that I'm super excited about, and basically I'll tell you now, I want the Bulls to trade everybody and tank to get in position to get one of these three guys is Isaac Kuminga, who's on the elite team in the G League. Absolutely amazing athlete, knows how to play the game. You watch this kid play. He plays with Jalen Green, another kid that probably would go in the top 5. But Kuminga's, I would probably have him at number 3. Number 2 for me is Cade Cunningham. even though I feel like he's probably the best player. And the only reason I put him at number 2 is because I'm absolutely in love with Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga. Just absolutely, like, Jalen Suggs, you watch this kid, he comes into Gonzaga, and Kispert is already the guy. Like, Kispert and Timmy are the guys. They're established. And he facilitates. He gets them involved. He does everything a point guard is supposed to do. And then when Gonzaga gets in trouble, the veterans look to him. And I'm like, yo, they know he's the dog. Do you understand what it takes for established players that have been in college scoring 17, 18 points, and they're the guys, and this freshman comes in, and like literally 5 games into the season when they get in a tough spot, they defer to him because they know he's the dog.
That's mad respect. Mad respect.
That's mad respect. And I love that kid. Like, that's the kid that I think would change the fortunes of the Bulls. If they got him at point guard next to Zach LaVine, now we're cooking with grease. So those are my top 3 guys. The Mobley kid, he's a big kid. He's versatile. He's going to get better. He's in the mold of athleticism as James Wiseman, just long and athletic. He'll probably go top 5. Haven't really seen. I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I've watched a lot of him. I haven't. I've seen about 2 or 3 games. And, he's going to be a good NBA player. But I don't know if he can really impact today's NBA game unless he just turns into Anthony Davis, because he's not dominating the game defensively like Anthony Davis did, with the length that he has. So that kind of troubles me, which leads me to Cade Cunningham. Shawn, you watch this kid. Like, I'm not worried about Oklahoma State if we see them in the Sweet 16. They have a tough matchup with Tennessee in that second round. So sorry, we're gonna have to do what we have to do to Sister Jean.
Yeah.
Don't be sorry about that. Don't be sorry about that.
It is what
it's
it
just
is.
business. It's not personal, just business.
Not personal at all. Not personal at all.
Just business. I love you. I love you, sister.
Cade Cunningham knows he's the dopest dude on the court. Right? I don't know if you've ever been in high school with like a really cold dude in any sport, and they just walk the hallways knowing that all the girls love them. They just have that swag. That's Cade Cunningham on the basketball court. Like, he knows. He knows everybody's there to watch him. He knows he's the best player on the court. And he just has this, he gives off this vibe, like, almost like he really doesn't care, like laissez-faire. And people are kind of thrown off about it. And that's totally not what you're getting. What you're getting is, I'm the coldest dude out here. There's nothing they can do with me. And when I'm ready, when I want to do what I want to do, I can go ahead and do it. Now, is he a dog? Now
that's another story.
I don't think he's been pushed to the point to where I've seen that. I think he's so uber talented that he can do whatever he wants to do. But that doesn't necessarily make you a dog.
No, this is a whole different thing. Yeah.
That just means you're uber talented. And he's just an uber talented kid. And I hope he matches up against Illinois. I hope he does, because now we get to see an opportunity of him having to step up. He's going to have to put up 30 in that game.
But, you saw the answer with what West Virginia did to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw, like, what listen, if you do what Huggins did to you, you got a chance against him. You know what I'm saying? Because he with that double team, he really didn't have the answer against that double team.
No, and see, the thing about that Illinois bracket, the first thing I said, and I think I tweeted it out, I saw the bracket and I was like, there's no one in this bracket that can deal with Kofi. No one. That's the only thing. Troutwig is a decent big. If we see Loyola in the second round, Georgia Tech, ACC championship, they got the ACC player of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not big enough to handle Kofi.
No.
And that's a big dude, man.
I saw him yesterday. I didn't realize. So I mean,
a big
I think he might have found a weight room the first couple of years there, because that dude, he seems thicker this year. He seems
I
thicker,
agree.
and I was so
Not
that's
as you can
baby
super
fat,
back-
baby Hewish.
yeah, super back. You can explain because you've been in a football locker room, right?
Yeah, baby Huey-ish. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he's strong, but he's kind of fluffy, kind of, but and he's trimmed down and he's thick. Like he's not so jiggly anymore. It's like, oh
Right.
snap. To
Right.
me, I think one more year, if he comes back and literally just work on his post game and a little turnaround jumper, up and can you answer me this? Either one of you, what happened to the up and under? What happened to the Kevin McHale move? Like people don't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like give me that up and under, and people fly up, and then you come on, you slam. You know what I mean? Like,
you know why? The patience.
Yeah,
that'd be a big thing. Patience. The up and up. People want to get the ball and react instead of set your man up and then attack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because at least you can say the up and under. You can say the same to drop step.
Yeah.
Patience. Kids don't have patience now, and we know if you don't have to have kids, but also have kids. But Shawn, you have coached kids. Listen, set them up. You know what I'm saying? People, they don't take the time, and that's part of being a big man. We know that with any sport. As far as in football, yeah, I'm gonna give you this look because the next time I want you to think. I'm just saying, if I'm a defender, I want the quarterback to think I'm gonna do this, and then Deion Sanders style, I'm gonna jump on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like it's patience, and you don't get patience a lot of time. But that's a great question, Shawn, with the up and under, because when you look at such a traditional big, like when my thing with Kofi is my problem, because I'm rooting for the big man, right?
Yeah.
Even though when looking at his name, I'm like, why isn't it Cockburn? But anyway, that's a different subject. But my thing was like, because I'm looking at him, and listen, this I'll say this too. This may be, and I'll ask you this, Shawn. What's your favorite Illini team? Because before this one, mine was the Flying Illini, and I wasn't even basketball knowledgeable to say the Flying. It's just for some odd reason the Flying Illini. And I was talking before the Under Center podcast. I was talking to Alex, and he was talking about them losing to Michigan. I was like, you talking about like Glenn Rice, Lloyd Vault, and Terry Mills? Mind you, I was too young to watch it.
Right.
But because I'm a basketball person, I knew what happened
yeah.
before I was paying attention or whatever. So I want to know your thoughts on your favorite.
I can tell you're an Illinois fan because you didn't mention Sean Higgins.
I was going to say, because Nick Anderson didn't box out Sean Higgins.
Right.
And I didn't mention Ramon Robinson's shiftiness. But I was also going to with Kofi, the thing that jumps out to me that I worry about him on the next level is being able to switch out, and you can't get everything from somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just and also get your feet together, because sometimes you're gonna have to play perimeter players on the switch, and so you can't get everything. But yeah, the real thing that I really want to know is what's your favorite Illini team, and where does this team sit as far as where you would place them among your favorite Illini teams?
This is my second favorite Illini team. Second favorite. Okay. Number one, 2005 cannot be eclipsed ever. Ever. Okay. Saturday night, I watched like the last 5 minutes of the Arizona game again. I do it like every year. Like that whole journey, dude, the way they beat up on Chris Paul and Wake Forest when it was 1 versus 4 down in Champaign. The atmosphere was crazy. Then they embarrassed Gonzaga. It was just the way they played, and it was Chicago dudes. It was Luther Head from Manly, and then it was D. Brown. The proviso. That's West Side. Like, dude,
West Side extended. Yep.
Yeah, Maywood. That's West Side.
Right. You got people in the city on the West Side, so it's just extension. That's all.
Right.
They just move west. That's all.
Right. And then Joliet. That's Augustine came from Joliet. That's adopted South Side. If you ever been to Joliet. So I mean, yeah, 2005 is my favorite team. 89 is my third favorite because this 2021 version of the Illini, and the reason I say they jumped, it's not because I'm saying they're better than the Flying Illini. The Flying Illini, they were really good, but they didn't have the personality of the 2005 team. And they don't have dude Curbelo, personality. Ayo, personality. Kofi, big man with a personality. And then just throw in Georgie off the bench. Crazy. They have crazy personality. They're very likable. They don't come anywhere near the 2005 team for me, but they're probably my second favorite Illinois team. And I want to give a caveat to another. The Frank Williams team is one of my favorite teams too. Even though they didn't make it to the Final Four, they lost in the Elite Eight to Arizona and Gilbert Arenas in that squad. But yeah, man, that Frank Williams squad. Shout out to his son DeMonte. I love that squad. That was like him, the other kid from Peoria. I forget his name. Man, don't snatch my Illini card. Corey Bradford, Krupalia, all of those guys. And then and just had a great team. Bill Self was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's another great team. They probably are honorable mention for me.
Hey, listen, guys, we're joined by Shawn Davis for another moment. He's from ESPN 1000 right here in Chicago on State Street, that great street. He's joining us right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago. So I got one more question for you. Talk to me about what this team is going to do to recruiting, because Iowa's kind of like the first CPS kid to come back to Illinois, and now he's just tearing it up. He's, like I said, he's probably going to be a first-team All-America this year. How big is that going to be for recruiting the Chicago Public League? Because back in '89, there's Kendall's always, he's been on our show a few times, and he was saying everybody in that team was from Illinois. Everybody down to the ball boy was from Illinois. He said, so how is this going to help this go and get these kids, the kids out of Curie, the kids out of Simeon, the kids out of Morgan Park? How is this run, this tournament, the Big Ten tournament championship yesterday, and this run going to help this recruiting for the Illini?
I think recruiting wise, it kind of hurt because but the Illini were hot.
You can say we. I know you're always gonna be Illini. It's okay. It's okay.
At the end of last year, they were very hot going into the tournament, and they didn't get a chance to show how good of a team they were for it to impact. They're in on Jaden Hardy, who is the number 2 player of the year out of Las Vegas. He is lottery. Like top 5. Very good. If you've never watched this kid play, go jump on YouTube after the show and just type in Jaden Hardy, and the kid is fantastic. I think he's going to the G League route. I think that's where he's going. I don't think he's going to college. They just signed a couple of wing players, the good kid, and then another player they just signed. He's about 6'7". He's freaky athletic. I don't know. I really don't know, because this class couldn't be impacted because they signed before all of the success of Illinois. And then Jaden Hardy's going to the G League, but it's the 2022 and 23 class. It's the sophomores that are watching this success that I think bodes well. Like I said, we didn't do good with the state of Illinois. Max Christie ended up going to from Rolling Meadows, ended up going to Michigan State. Bryce Hopkins from Fenwick, who's a top 20 player, decommitted from Louisville and ended up choosing Kentucky over Illinois. We were hopeful to get him. And then there's one other kid. The Brandon Weston kid from Morgan Park, who was the next one in that pipeline. 6'7", bouncy, small forward, power forward mixture. If you want to play small with him at the 4, that's where he played with Adam and he played with the IO. So I think he was a freshman when IO was there. Maybe I think he just played with Ace. I'm sorry. He only played with Ace, but he chose Seton Hall over Illinois. So we missed out on 4 of the top 10 guys out of Illinois in this recruiting cycle. So we'll see. Hopefully they can pick it up. I know one thing. We got the best backcourt in the Big Ten for the next 2 years. I can tell you that right now.
And I'll tell you, and I think you might agree with me. As you go further along in the tournament, you get a lot of. This is why a lot of mid majors do so well in the tournaments, because their guard play is so good. because they've been there 3 and 4 years and they don't go right to the league. And this is why you see a lot of teams beat a lot of, one and doneers and, and a whole bunch of, 5-star blue chips because they don't know how to play together. But you get these teams, when you have good guard play, you're in every game. And that's one of the things that's great about Illinois moving forward is that great guard play.
That's why Io can close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Io is the main facilitator, especially to begin the game. And Io is really good at letting the game come to him. He really doesn't force his shots, but you can see to close the halves, he gets ultra aggressive. That's when his team needs him, and that's when it's go time for him.
Yep.
But in between that, he willingly gives the ball to Curbelo. Like willingly, like go ahead, do your thing, run the pick and roll. And,
you know who he reminds me of, dude? And me and you got into it about this one. He reminds me of Isaiah Thomas. How Isaiah Thomas just feed. Oh, I need to drop 30. Okay, I got you. Yeah, but he got everybody involved. He got the microwave involved. He got Joe Dumars involved. He get Bill Laimbeer involved. I mean,
you should not talk about Isaiah Thomas, correct? You do not. You should keep Isaiah Thomas' name out of your mouth. You do not like Isaiah Thomas.
No, I don't like
you
him.
should never bring up the great Isaiah Thomas.
I do not like
any
Isaiah
comparison
Thomas.
whatsoever.
I do
you
not
don't
like
put
Isaiah Thomas,
respect on that man's
but
name.
I do respect his game. I got mad respect for his game.
Superback, you holding grudges, man?
Man, yes, because he did what they did. I'm telling you, that still hurts. If he dies, he dies. Hey, but I will say this: I cannot say a damn thing about his game because he is by far the second best point guard ever played his game, and and I think Magic is first. And there's no comparison. There's no. I mean, I can't. My personal feelings aside for him, from my being a Meathead Bulls fan. You can't argue out his game at all. Like I said, he's the guy. He'll just give it to you. He'll let Joe. Like I said, he'll let everybody go off, do their thing, and then when he needs to, if everybody can't get off and he needs to, then I'll drop 30. And you're like, son of a bitch, man. How did he do that? Because he just waited in the cut and let everybody do their thing, and you just a lot of people just slept on him. They slept on him because he was dishing all the time.
Because he was freaky.
Yeah, he was he's phenomenal, bro. He's phenomenal.
That's my only thing with Cabela. I'm not saying that the young man has talent. But when you say Isaiah Thomas,
it's
like we're talking, like you're like,
no, I understand what you're saying. Like the ability, the skill with the ball handling, and to get through small cracks, to split the pick and roll, and just the things he's able to do to get into the paint, hit the mid-range jumper,
which is
he's just a freshman, man. The kid is just a freshman, but he's an alpha male.
Yeah,
like he's an alpha male, like. You remember when Scottie Pippen said when he got drafted, he came to the Bulls saying to himself, I'm going to be better than Michael Jordan until the first day of
Michael Jordan?
Right, until the first day of practice. And then, like, literally, I believe Curbelo thinks he's better than Io. Like, in his heart, he believes I'm the best player on this team. Like, I'll take a back seat, but I'm the best player on this team, and he's an alpha male. So, to have two alpha males like that, especially one that can come off the bench in a tournament, and you have Io that might have a bad shooting night, it's good to have that in your chamber.
Hey, Shawn, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. I know we kept you a little long, but the combo was just too damn good, man. I appreciate it, brother. Do me a favor.
I got one question for Ken and you, Superback. I don't know if you're aware of the situation. Ken, I need you to break down the Kurt Franklin situation for me, bro.
Listen, I'll say this real quick, and you have all enjoyed this. I have a flip dropping tomorrow that the last topic is Kirk Franklin. So let me say this. Kirk Franklin, who, if you don't know, is somewhat street. If you watch his interviews, like Kirk Franklin isn't the one necessarily, right? When he dropped that apology and he mixed it with toxic, but this is the thing. He dropped a ransom note apology, all right, like he was kidnap apology. When he said his son is about to be 33, he said he'll be 33 in May. He let you know this SOB, right? This old SOB. He put so much heat in that apology,
right?
That it was, dude. Listen. I'll say this too. That young man came asking his father for something, or he didn't get what he wanted. For me, on the outside looking in. But the thing that stood out to me was the stepmama laughing in the background. That's when, if I was the son, I would have lost it. When Kirk Franklin is cursing at him, and you hear somebody in the background go, I was like, what the hell? Right.
But
Listen, I put it on the son. And again, I'll say this: you may have. I was lucky enough to have a very good relationship with my father. I know, Shawn, the same with you. But also, you know some situations, and the son being seeming like from the old regime, and Kurt Franklin having his wife or whatever, and maybe not getting along. But when you 33, like going on 33. This like what can be said, like I hate to say it, but I said this on the show yesterday on the flip. I'm lucky enough with my children that I've never thought about, man, I wish that I didn't impregnate that woman. And Kurt Franklin clearly wishes he never laid down with the woman he laid down with that kid. That's right.
He definitely wishes he didn't shoot that club up. Right. You know what I'm saying? He definitely wishes he didn't shoot that club up. Hey, see, the reason I asked, because Superback, I think you can relate father figures or coaches. Like when you're an athlete, you always have that one coach, whether it's a position coach or the head coach, man. It just seems to get under your skin. It just seems to always be on top of you, always talking crazy. And sometimes you have to take a step back and realize, they do that for a reason. But ultimately, the ball is in your court when it comes to your success.
Yep.
And I think that's what you're alluding to. Like at 33, my man.
It's on you.
You ain't 22. You ain't 21. You ain't 25. 29.
Right.
30.
And clearly he's been giving you something. Kurt Franklin's been providing for you. Right. It may not be now. It may not be what you would
I'm
want
pretty
it
sure
to
the
be.
state of Texas mandated.
That's what I was about to say. Like
what I'm saying?
He's been taken care of, and at one point, regardless of if our relationship wasn't what you want it to be, you have to go forth and be the man that you're going to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's again the fact that you probably never had to worry about a meal, probably never had to worry about clothes, never had to worry about a roof over your head.
God's property was taking care of that young man from back in the 90s. GP, are you with me? All right.
And that's what people, especially younger kids, don't understand. Like these are concerns for a lot of people. Yeah. And you just take that for granted that you probably had the every single pair of Jordans that you wanted and your Bo jeans or fat what's the any kind of jeans.
Yeah, Fat Farm, Jabot, whatever.
Lucky brand jeans, Shawn, whatever you wanted, you probably had back in the day, and you were fly as hell. And then because of the other, but you had no problem taking that money and buying it. You know what I mean? So that it's just.
He said, "I will break my foot off in your back."
Yes.
He said, yeah.
That's what he said.
Now the choir sang.
Dude, look, as Ken, as parents.
Oh, listen, don't play with me like that. Like,
no.
There will be.
Don't do in that situation. Who I am and my faith has nothing to do with this situation.
None at all. Not at all. You're my child.
Superback. Dude, I know how much I can look at your mom and tell, bro.
No, right. They don't.
The discipline.
They call her the warden, dude.
He gets up and does CrossFit at 4 a.m. in the morning. You know how disciplined he is.
The discipline you move with, I can tell where it came from.
Yeah, yeah.
She might be tiny in stature, but that's a powerful woman. When you look at it.
Dude,
that's a powerful woman.
She used to work at Lucy Flower, which is now Al Raby.
My mom graduated from Lucy Flower.
Get out of here. Small world.
It was all girls school.
Yep. It was an all girls school. And so before they got police in there, my mom was one of the hall monitors when she wasn't doing office work. They called her the warden. All 4'10" of her. Wow. They call her ass the warden.
I can see it. I can see it.
She didn't play. And I'll tell you last story before I let you go real quick. I got my last ass whooping when I was a 16-year-old junior in high school.
Mine was 15.
16-year-old. And that is the old school, man. She's like, go grab the extension cord. But no. Too late. Too late. I gave you more than enough time. You had 3 months. You beat up your little cousin. He's 8 years younger than you. You didn't throw out the garbage. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. Go get the extension cord, get in the bathroom, and pull your pants down. I was like, but now if you make me wait any longer, it's gonna be twice as bad. Man, I ran, got that extension cord. Don't make me beat you, man. Man, and that was the last time. Like, all right, I'm
Sean.
done. I'm done. No more.
Refusing to get the extension cord or grabbing it during the proceeding.
Oh, don't you grab that? Don't you grab that? That's when it. I thought. Listen, it's crazy that you. It's crazy that you bring it up because I thought about you and I was like, I wonder how hard Sean's father had came down on him. I thought about you and Tony. Actually, during the show, I was going to actually mention it. I was like, I would love to know the last time your father came down on you like that. You crossed my mind. All my preacher sons what happened because my thought was it is a separation of listen, you're my child, and yes, I will talk to you in a certain manner because you overstepped the line, and you should not even. And this is we're talking about an adult. This isn't even a child. You're not a kid anymore. So because I'm in a total agreement. Listen. I don't care. I don't think it should affect Kirk Franklin. Shorty stepped out wide and then recorded it. You know what I'm saying? On top of that,
recorded it.
So like, no, you're listen. And then when you said the belt thing, I got my last whooping in the grade. Actually, I hate to say this on here. I was abused as a kid, and it wasn't from my father. But I got my last whooping probably in grade school. To say the least, but it was hurtful.
I was hard headed. It took me to junior year.
But when you said that, when you said, "Look, what was you doing beating up on your cousin that was 8 years younger than you, Shawn? What type of savage are you?"
Because he was annoying. You know, little cousins. They want to hang with you. They want to hang with you. They always want to be around you.
But you had to beat him up.
I just punch him in the chest and he'd fall. You know what I mean? Then he'd cry, and then he was LeBron. Like, oh, I can't breathe. I just punched him. You know, and then so we lived with my grandma, and so I was a favorite. Okay, and then it kind of transferred as I got older, and there were other little bit your grandkids came over, and so he was like one of the next ones. So he thought he was a favorite. All right, and he really wasn't, but he was just younger, so grandma had to give him some more attention, and so he would always cry to grandma. And grandma would always protect him. And so I used to have to beat him for calling grandma, Sean's hitting me. Damn it, Shawn, leave him alone. And he started laughing at me because I was like, oh, you son of a gun. I hit it, just dumb stuff. Just push him in the wall. We're walking in the house. Sorry, I didn't mean to knock your drink out of your hand. Sorry about that. Just dumb stuff. Just
how is he now?
Oh, dude, he's awesome, dude. He's like 6'3".
That's what I was about to say. I bet that helped him. But no, those cousins help you.
Yeah.
That toughen you up in that way like that.
Oh yeah, we toughen his ass up. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, he's no punk now. Thank goodness.
I was going to say,
I ain't gonna mess with him because he's 6'3".
Yeah.
I ain't gonna mess with him no more. But hey, man, great stuff. I appreciate you hanging with us this long, man. It was great, man. It was great. We'll have to get you back on soon, bro. I really appreciate the time.
Appreciate you. Love you, brothers, man. You know that. Anytime, anything. I tell Ken all the time, same for you, Shawn. Anything you ever need from me, man, you can always reach out. I'm always here for you. I got mad energy for my people. Always.
Back at you.
So
back at you.
Likewise, man.
That.
Likewise.
And, when everything opens up, we definitely have to break bread soon.
Break bread at the Sox game. That's what I'm talking about.
Sure, let's do it.
It's the Lou Bob. Yeah. Go deep again. Go deep again. All right, man. We'll talk to you.
All right, brother.
Later, Shawn.
All right. Yep. Later. Guys, that was Shawn Davis from ESPN. Man, we went through the whole we went through the commercial and everything. This conversation just flew.
Guy.
That just flowed, man.
I appreciate you for booking the guests that you book. This was a pleasant Monday morning experience for me, waking up and sitting down with you two guys, man. This is a way you should start your week off, to say the least.
Really, it really is. I had a great workout today, and I knew because I didn't send the rundown till later today, and I was like, because I knew I booked him. He goes, yesterday or 2 days ago. Yesterday early, yeah. And so I was like, I'll get the rundown done. I was like, no. Because I want to surprise Ken when he wakes up and sees it. Like,
when I'm scrambling and before I clicked the link, I was like, let me see the rundown. I'm like, Shawn Davis. I was like, oh yeah, my God. You guys are definitely brothers, you know what I'm saying, from another mother. And that, some people you just have a connection with.
Yeah.
And that's always a great thing. And shout out to Ivan too. I didn't get to see you today, Ivan. I have to see your beard at least. Yeah, okay. I have to see it at least to let me know everything's all right. But yeah, you guys, I have an affinity for, and I always appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you on Friday.
Cool, man. Well, we got mad respect because we all grinding. We all started from the bottom. Now we're here. We're all doing stuff that we want to do, and it's not over. And that's why I enjoy it. I enjoy the moment.
It's still in the beginning, and
I'm enjoying the moment, and I'm happy.
We're growing the football.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for you and your gigs, and happy for Shawn over at ESPN, and I'm proud of what we're doing over here at SportsZone
I was
Chicago.
saying everything that's over here. You look at What's Up, Cuz. You look at the Humidor podcast.
Did you get a chance to listen to the Humidor podcast? Dude,
I watched a little bit of it this weekend.
Dude, those mugs had me rolling, dude. My goodness, those mugs had me rolling.
I want to give a quick update for the Humidor Sports Podcast. By the way, the Humidor Sports podcast, Sports and Cigars podcast, will be on Saturday from 11 to 1 p.m. We'll be on location for the NCAA tournament. We'll be doing a live show at a location that I'll put out in shortly here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, make sure we all know so we can repost it and stuff like that.
Oh
you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's dope. That's dope for those brothers.
Yep. Ken, we'll see you on Friday, Papa. Thank you so much, and we'll see you then. All right.
No doubt.
All right. Hey guys, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we got one guy who's taking a baton from Ken, who's going to sit with me from the 11 to 12 o'clock hour. He's the host of one of the hottest shows right here on SportsZone Chicago, and that's the What's Up, Cuz. Him and his cousin Lancey Irvin. I'm talking about Jason Palmer. He's going to sit with me for the next hour as we welcome our last guest, VJ Vemu from SB Nation, talking Bulls, baby. Big win yesterday for the Bullies. I love it, especially after the new lineup change, after the two horrible losses coming out of the All-Star break. Are we finally turning the corner? Are we starting to look up? Are things starting to look up? We're going to ask VJ Vemu on the other side, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, this is Gary Payton, and we listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Do that.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. It was a 118-95 win for the Bulls last night at home over the Raptors. 9 players in double points, led by Patrick Williams, who had 23. Wendell Carter Jr. with a double-double, 12 points and 11 rebounds. Zach LaVine with 15 for the 17 and 20 Bulls. We're back home tomorrow night against the Thunder, Chicago 10th in the Eastern Conference. The Blackhawks visit the Panthers tonight. Chicago coming off Saturday's 4-2 loss against Florida. It's the second of 6 straight against Florida teams. They'll play at Tampa Thursday and Saturday, then return home Tuesday night for a pair against the Panthers. Spring training on Sunday, the Cubs and Angels played to a 1-1 tie. The White Sox shut out Oakland 1-0. 3:05 first pitch this afternoon between the Cubs and the White Sox. The Sox are the home team. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey, James, that order just doubled. We got to move fast here.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Somebody pick up that phone.
Like at Luca's Gourmet Frozen Pizza Company. To operate at scale, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at SportsZone Chicago in this House Music Monday edition. Look, you see I got my house head shirt on. Yeah, the house head shirt. We jamming over here. This weekend was good. Like Ken said, you full of the Rona. We had a Rona outing on Saturday. And it's good weekend. Good weekend. Let me bring in my guy who's going to take the baton and run with me for the anchor leg for the 11 and 12 o'clock hour. As I said, he's one of the hosts of the hottest shows right here on SportsZone Chicago. That's the What's Up Cuz show. Man, it's awesome. Him and his cousin Lance Irvin. He works for the Chicago Crusader as well. He's an official for like 17 different sports, men and female, and kids and women. Man, he does it all. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Coyden. Let's bring him out, Jason Palmer. Jason, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Hey, man. Happy Monday to you. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing really well. Good weekend.
Hey, I got some great Oh, yeah. I got some great news, man.
You do?
Great news. Wednesday, I get to go back to officiating for the first time in over a year.
No way, dude. What do you got? Water polo, basketball?
I do. I got water polo. Yes, sir. I got water polo, and I actually got a couple volleyball matches this week too. So there you go, man. You know, things are starting to get back.
Uh-oh.
A little bit normal.
Baby. Cha-ching,
there you go.
Because that money, baby.
It's about the kids, Sean. It ain't about the money.
I mean, it's about Hey, well, me and you will talk at the bottom of the hour. I want to bring out our next guest, talk about this Bulls game last night. He writes for SB Nation. You can find him on Twitter. He's a good friend of the program. You can find him on Twitter at VJ Vemo. Guys, let's bring him out. VJ Vemo. VJ, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you guys? Like you said, it was a good weekend. The Bulls had a terrible start to their post All-Star break, but they rebounded well with a good win yesterday. I like that.
It was, I really liked it. I liked the change up from. So let's talk about that first thing. You know, it's the starting lineup for Billy Donovan. You know, he said he just wasn't getting enough juice. He wasn't getting enough energy. He wasn't getting enough oomph out of these. He's like, I need to flip the script. And that's one thing I really like about Billy Donovan at this stage. Like, he don't give a damn. Like, if it's not working, I'm going to do something. I'm going to tinker with it. And he did. And you know what? They came out with a lot of energy yesterday. They came out, you know, there were 9 times. Your son's been absent from school 9 times, Mrs. Bueller. 9 players in double digits, and they were not led by Zach LaVine. They were led by the rookie P. Will, who is the intern at the law firm of Sato and Young, according to Stacy. But I'll tell you what, the fact that the rookie led all scorers for the Bulls was a huge lift and a big. This kid's just coming out. It's just a coming out party for him where he really should just be a sophomore in college.
Yeah, certainly. Like you said, like the starting lineup news, I think it was kind of expected, but it was sort of unexpected that the news was leaked like right before the game, like the night before the game started. And I think like it worked for like both parties. Like Sato and Thad Young played great as starters, and they showed why they were so effective this entire season. Like before this change happened, like the same thing would happen every Bulls game where the starters would get outplayed. The bench lineups would come in and get them back in the game. Starters would come back in, and then the game might go haywire, like you never knew, right? So I think it helped both parties. Wendell Carter Jr. and Kobe White looked pretty good coming off the bench. Like I would say that like they both responded well to how the benching was, and like you said, like it was a good move by Billy Donovan. I think this shows that like the Bulls aren't exactly thinking about long-term development. They're more thinking about like, hey, let's try to get into the playoffs, because otherwise, why would you try to start 2 veterans over 2 young guys? But I like the move, and I think it's a way of Chicago kind of showing their hand and how they want the season to play out. I think they do want to fight for that spot. Otherwise, I wouldn't think they would be trying to make this move per se.
You know, for me, I'm thinking I don't mind Wendell Carter coming off the bench. I don't mind. You know, I really don't, because the one thing I still think we're 1 star away. Maybe even a superstar away, but I'll say a star away from really being serious contenders in the East, because the East is kind of stacked now.
Yeah.
But you know, we obviously have Zach LaVine. I think Patrick Williams in the next year or two is going to be that second star, and I think we need that third one, because let me run this by you. I have no problem. I like Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen on that second unit. Denzel Valentine, Lauri Markkanen, Kobe White. You know, you can get Kobe White, and Lauri Markkanen. We need you to score.
Yeah.
Just go out there and score. And now you're playing against guys who aren't you're playing against second team guys, and these are first team players. So I think that's I think it's like a bench mob 3.0. Give me your thoughts on maybe moving those guys if they don't trade Lauri.
Yeah, I think certainly with Kobe White and Denzel Valentine, it shows that like last year was the same thing with Kobe White, right? Before the season shut down, he was basically coming off the bench and doing what you like expected him to. He's like, he got a lot more shots than he needed to. No one really expected him to play point guard. They're just like, okay, here's the ball. If you get open, shoot. Lauri Markkanen, yeah, I think Patrick Williams is a 4 in the future. So the more time that you get Patrick Williams playing power forward, I think the better. So yeah, if they don't trade Lauri Markkanen, they decide that they want him to use him in more bench units, I think I'm all for it. But I think they'll probably end up starting him if he does stay. Who knows with all these guys, like you said, with their futures. I think it's pretty interesting too, because if they think about it, like this new regime really didn't draft any of these guys outside of Patrick Williams. So they don't really have a lot of like Well, I don't know if loyalty is the right word, but like those are not guys they drafted, right?
They're not their
Those are
guys.
not guys they drafted, so you wouldn't really feel compelled to keep them. Like I think that's the right wording for it. But yeah, I mean, I think with Chicago, especially after like the lineup change that happened, I think that like all options should be on the table because like, I mean, I don't know what's like the worst that can happen, right? Like you just keep experimenting with these lineups. And it showed yesterday, like if you play like Zach LaVine with the veterans, it works. So I think like moving some of the young guys to the bench units, I think that could probably be something that would work. Yeah.
Hey, VJ, I was wondering if the change in the starting lineup was not a twofold thing. One, to get better play out of the team, but are they also, trying to show some people for the trade deadline that's coming up?
Yeah, I think that certainly could be in play. I think like what everyone, all like the beat writers and everyone's reported, like, Chicago's not taking offers, but like if there's one thing like the Bulls have like talked about at least in the press conferences, is that like they'll be like they won't turn down like or they won't like not listen, right? So they'll actually like try to like improve the team and get better. If anything, you're right. This is a way like a showcase for the trade deadline. If like a team's like, hey, we really want Thomas Satoransky or like a contender's like, hey, we'll throw you a first round pick for Thad Young. Like this is like these are like the best times to showcase these guys. So I think it is like in a twofold way. It's sort of just like Chicago does want to show that they're pushing towards the playoffs, but I think they're also showing that like, hey, like, we got really good players on our team too. And, if you play Zach LaVine with the right guys, like good things can happen.
At this point in the season, what could you say that the Bulls have improved on the most since the beginning of the season?
I think you could say they've probably improved offensively a lot more. I think like the team looks a lot more cohesive offensively. Last season, it was just a bunch of Zach LaVine hero ball, like him trying his hardest to like score, and the team just getting absolutely blown out every night. But like he's taking a leap. He's become so efficient as a scorer, become like a legitimate all-star. I think the ball movement's been a lot better too. You see with like them playing Thad Young, basically as the broadcast says, like Magic Johnson, like he's just finding cutters left and right. And I think that's like, as you said with Patrick Williams before, I think that was a really good thing that Patrick Williams did last night. He was moving really well off the ball, had like 2 really good dunks. I think that's like the thing that I've seen the best from Chicago is they kind of look like their offense. They kind of look like they know what they're doing on offense now. Like guys are getting open shots.
Funny.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't look like Zach LaVine's basically trying to score 60 by himself. Like, yeah, granted, he's still scoring 30 a night, but like now Zach LaVine doesn't exactly look like he has the world on his shoulders. And again, like you said, like Zach LaVine didn't score. He scored 15 points last night, and they still won by like 20 points, I think, almost. Like if you were to tell me that last season, I'd be like, there's no way this game would turn out like that. So I think like with the Bulls offense, certainly they look like a more cohesive unit for sure.
You know what it seems like for Zach is like he's comfortable now. Remember, he's comfortable that everybody else is stepping their game up, right? And he doesn't feel the need to have to score 30. He can, but he doesn't feel that need. And I think that's what's awesome. I think that's what's great is that you got Kobe White, you have Patrick Williams, you have Thaddeus Johnson, you have these guys who are stepping up and putting the bucket in the ball in the basket, and Zach doesn't. It allows him to do other things. And the mature part about Zach is he's realizing now that he can affect the game at both ends of the court.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to score 30. He can play defense. He can, block a shot. He can assist. He can give somebody a dime. And I think that maturity level is attributed to his growth as a leader. And I think it's really attributed to it was cemented by him being in the All-Star game. I think him being around those other guys. Talk to me about how positive that is for a guy like Zach LaVine. Like you've never been around stars like that all in one place. Now he's there for the first time when he probably should have been there last year, but he was there this year for the first time. Well, how positive of an effect did that have on Zach?
I think it probably had a really positive effect on him and like the organization as like a whole, right? Because like think about it, like their last All-Star was Jimmy Butler, the guy they traded away like 4 years ago for Zach LaVine. So I think it was super positive. I think Zach LaVine's legitimately played like a well-deserved All-Star this year. I think he surprised many people. He certainly surprised me. I did not expect this type of leap from Zach LaVine. Obviously, I knew he was a scorer, but I think like the efficiency was off the charts. And like you said, defense, like he's gotten so much better as a defender. I think when he came to Chicago, his reputation wasn't the best when it came to playing defense, but he's legitimately become like an actually like pretty okay defender, which is really good considering what we saw from him at the beginning of his career in Chicago. He stepped it up on both ends of the court, like you said. I think part of it is like we talked about how like everyone else is showing like they're getting more involved. So he's getting more confident in the fact that he doesn't have to play hero ball. He's also gotten a lot better in terms of finding open guys, because now when teams face Chicago, like the defensive plan is okay. Try to stop Zach LaVine, and Zach LaVine's realizing that like teammates are open because once he gets into the lane, doubles are coming, teams are sending over help, and he's getting the ball out. So I think in terms of Chicago, like they now have like a legitimate star, and I think it helps them in free agency too, because now they have like this calling card. Like when they do sit down with guys, teams are not going to be like, oh, well, what do you have on your roster? You'd be like, well, look here, we have an all-star, right? We certainly have a guy who's like at least a number 2 star on a really good team. So if you're Chicago, this certainly helps your brand and your marketing going forward. I think it's like a real positive going forward for Chicago, which is not something they've had much in the past couple of years.
No, definitely not. Guys, we're joined by VJ Venmo from SB Nation, talking a little Chicago Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, VJ, when I look at these standings in the East, going for this last playoff spot, I mean, I'm looking at, the Bulls are basically 2 games out of the 6th position and 1 game out of the 8th position. And they're tied with Indiana. And then they got the Raptors, which is just 1 game behind them. There's going to be a fight like crazy to get to these last playoff spots. Looking forward at the Bulls' schedule, what are the games that you're most concerned about? What are the games are you kind of most confident about with them going forward in this push for the playoffs? Because obviously beating a team like Toronto, who you were tied with going into the game, is huge. It's like almost like getting 2 wins.
Yeah, certainly. Like you said, with the East standings, I look at it a lot when it comes to the Bulls, and it's just a log jam. It's like they could finish from anywhere from like 5th to like 12th. I think that's like the crazy part. It's just like it's sort of like there's not many like teams over 500 in the East, which makes it like really interesting, because like we could see like even to the final day, like we could see a bunch of like changes in the standings, which is good for Chicago and also kind of bad, because if they lose a couple of games, then you're starting to get a little worried. But in terms of the schedule, they play OKC. I think that should be an easy game for them. They play the Pistons, I think, next week on the 21st. Then the Cavs on the 24th. Those are the type of games that you should be winning. But at least until like April 2nd, they play these teams. They play the Nuggets. They play the Spurs twice. They play the Jazz twice. And they play the Suns. And then April 4th, they play the Nets. Those are really tough games, because those are all really, really good teams in the West. I think Chicago, if anything, when it looks at their schedule, you probably just have to like say like, okay, if it's like a non-Philly, non-Brooklyn, or non-Celtics team that's in the East, that's probably like your most winnable games for Chicago, because their schedule is not going to get any easier. So I think the games that you really should be trying to like pin down are like those Eastern Conference ones against teams like in the standings, like you said, like beat the Torontos, beat the Clevelands, beat the Pistons, beat the Spurs. You could try to beat the Spurs too. Like they're playing the Spurs, I think, this week. So their schedule is really, really tough. There's a lot of tough games. I'm just hoping personally for Chicago to be competitive in most of these games. Just like show me some fight.
Beat the Sixers without Embiid and Simmons.
Yeah, that was a bad.
That was a swift kick in the nuts. We got a couple questions. Arliss Jones wanted to know if the Bulls get to the playoffs, is Billy the coach of the year?
Ooh. I think he should be considered for coach of the year if they don't get like a playoff spot, like a play-in spot, sorry. As in like if they finish like 6th, if they would finish like that, I think that like you really could hear that. I'm trying to think of like coach of the year. I don't know if he could be coach of the year. I think it's certainly an interesting discussion. But I think once again, it all depends on where Chicago finishes, because if they finish like 10th or so, I don't know if he's going to be getting a lot of talk. But if they finish like 7th, and like you consider where they were last season as one of like the worst teams in the league, I think certainly he should his name should be talked about, because like the job that he's done is pretty impressive. Also considering they've only signed 1 free agent in the summer. So this is basically the same roster that Jim Boylan had, if you think about it. But Billy Donovan took them to the playoffs. So I think certainly he should be talked about. But it all depends on where Chicago ends up on the final day.
Arliss had a couple questions. He had like 17. I'm gonna give him one more. And shout out to Arliss Jones for tuning in and getting interactive like we ask people to do. So we're just busting your chops, Papa. That's all. So is Patrick Williams a rookie of the year?
Sadly not, because I think there's a couple more rookies that have been playing a little better than them. One of them has been LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball has been, I think, easily the best rookie. I don't know if you guys saw that highlight of him spinning around and hitting that 3-pointer. It's just those plays that make you go, wow. Like, yeah, this is the little sigh, right? Just like, if he was on, like, Patrick Williams is a great player, no doubt. He'll be a great player one day, but like LaMelo's looking like the guy. Like if there was like a superstar in this class, it was LaMelo Ball, and he's been making like these. He's been awesome, and like since he's started playing this season, I think he's my rookie of the year for sure, easily. He's like been like the biggest impact, like because like Charlotte from last season went from like a team that was sort of like in the Bulls range when Kemba left. You're like, oh, we don't know where our future is going to be. Now they have LaMelo, and they legitimately look like they could make the playoffs. So I think I would give it to LaMelo Ball. Tyrese Halliburton's been playing well too from Sacramento. I think Patrick Williams is somewhere in that like third tier of guys who like could, if he decides that, if he like somehow comes out with a really good string of games. So right now I would give it to LaMelo Ball easily.
Okay. With the fact that he doesn't have to carry the team, would that hurt him?
Yeah, I think so a little bit, right? Because he's not getting like those numbers. Because like as much as we want to say like at the end of the day numbers don't matter, like I think that's like part of like. You look at the stats, LaMelo Ball, look at his averages. I think Patrick Williams is more like, well, Chicago obviously like picked him because they want him to be better in the future. So I don't know if he's been like the best rookie this season, but he's shown like flashes of being good, which is all you ask from Patrick Williams. But in terms of like LaMelo Ball, like you see like the on the court impact like immediately, like in terms of like, the highlight plays and everything. Basically, he's got it all in terms of what you want from like a rookie of the year campaign, right? People know him. He's making highlight plays. His team's been good. So yeah, like you said, like the fact that Patrick Williams isn't like this exact like scorer type, and he's not like putting the team on his back like LaMelo, I think it's kind of is hurting his rookie of the year chances a little bit, which is fine because like in the end, Chicago does want Patrick Williams to be good in a couple of years, not now, which is what we expected.
What about the overall health of the Bulls? Obviously, let's throw Lauri Markkanen out there. We know he's just paper thin, but you know, in general, the health of the team at this point in the season, how you see it?
I think this has to be. I mean, obviously Garrett Temple had a sprained ankle, but with Otto Porter coming back and with Lauri Markkanen coming back, it's probably the healthiest they've been for a while. Like their injury report only looks to be like Devon Dotson, who has like a sprained knee. Their two-way guy.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, like these, like I think they have like their full rotation back for the first time because Lauri missed some time with the shoulder, Otto Porter with his back. Chandler Hutchison missed games too. So I think like this is like this is probably like the best you could ask for, is that like the majority of your guys are playing. Because as we know for like the past couple of years, like the biggest like one of the bigger problems that we've always talked about with the Bulls is we would love to see the core play together because like half of them are injured, right? For like at the time. And so like this is probably like the best you could ask for if you're a Bulls fan, right? Because like there's no guy where you're like, oh, I wish he could like suit up, because they're all suiting up now. So this is like the best evaluation time. This is the best time to like look at how everyone plays together, because everyone should be having a chance to play.
Billy Donovan with the lineup change, I think he showed he sent a statement. I think he sent a statement to everybody on the squad. How do you think they're going to react? Because it looked like they reacted good yesterday. Okay, but that was one game, and that's an immediate reaction is good. But, how do you think this team reacts now? Because now they realize, oh, snap, if I'm not playing and I'm not getting the energy, I think that's what Billy said, that he needs, my ass is going to be on the bench. And Daniel Gafford has found that out so well.
Yeah.
And, and even though he had a good game a couple of games ago, within like the first 10, 15 seconds he got in, he dunked on somebody, and that's the energy that you like from a Daniel Gafford. And then he did a DNP yesterday, the coach's decision.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of message that's send, and what do you think it's going to do to these young the whole team, but these youngsters especially, when you're getting DNP'd and you're not seeing as much tick as you'd like.
I think Donovan's been like pretty open, right, in the press conferences. He's explained his decisions well. I think he's made some good coaching moves, as you said. I hope they respond well, because I think, like I said earlier, like the Bulls kind of showed their hand, and like in starting Thad Young and Sato, they're like, look, we want to win games. Like your development obviously is key, but like by us benching you, we're clearly showing that like we want to win games first, and your development might come second. So I really do hope that these guys like respond well, like you said with Daniel Gafford. He's been really mixing and matching guys as he sees fit. He's not really, again, like I don't think he owes any of these guys anything. Like you said, like they're professionals, right? Like they understand how the sport works at this point. So like you said, I really hope he does well. Like I think it's good that Donovan is being honest, I think, with these guys because like, I mean, as we saw last year with Jim Boylan, like he wasn't exactly the nicest guy when it comes to taking the blames for the players. I think that's putting it lightly. So I think that I do like what we're seeing from Billy Donovan. Obviously he shows like a veteran coach that, he can be harsh on these guys a couple of times. Like he'll if guys screws up, he'll say it. But he's also pretty good at motivating these guys. Like, hey, you need to do better. We need to be better. He demands more, which I think I really do like that he's openly demanding these types of things. He's like he said at the beginning of the season, like, look, we need to learn how to win first. Like that's like a really big statement to a young team. And he's right. The Bulls need to learn how to win first. So I do hope that like these young guys understand, like, these benchings aren't the end of the world, and that this is something that can possibly help them and this team moving forward.
Little tough love, huh?
Yeah, little tough love. I think that's probably it, right? Yeah.
Hey, VJ, obviously the United Center right now also being used as a major vaccine site as well. The mayor did announce last week that the Cubs and the White Sox are going to be able to have fans. I know the Bulls and the Hawks would love to be able to get just some fans in the building. Have you heard anything from the Bulls standpoint on a possibility of them getting some fans in the building at some point this season, or, hopefully if they make the playoffs?
I haven't heard anything personally. I know that probably guys who work for the Tribune or NBC Sports probably have heard something. I think if I remember, maybe possibly I think the NBA has always been talking about trying to get more fans in, or all four sports, have been trying to get more fans in. Like you said, the Cubs and White Sox are looking for, I think, was it fans on opening day? Correct? That's what it was.
Yeah, they're gonna get 20% on opening day.
That's what they. I mean, yeah. So obviously, I haven't heard anything, but it wouldn't surprise, I think, any of us three if the NBA has sometime near the playoffs. Maybe I'm just guessing. This is not any reporting or anything. If the NBA was we allow X percentage amount of fans back. So like you said, the UC right now is being used as a COVID vaccination site, which is great. It's fantastic. But I haven't heard anything. Obviously I would like for fans to be back because I think it does affect our viewing experience. I think when it comes to basketball, certainly I know I keep thinking about how the Bulls have been playing well. And I'm like, yeah, fans, if the fans were there, I think it would be a lot more cool experience. But yeah, I haven't heard anything, but hopefully we can get fans back as we try to go back to normalcy. Hopefully sometime soon, maybe this summer.
Hey guys, he's VJ Vemo from SB Nation. Hey, great stuff, Papa. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
You can find my work at bloggable.com. We write about every game, give you recaps, previews, analysis, all that good stuff. You can find me at VJ Vemu, VJVEMU on Twitter. And thank you so much for having me again. Always good to come on and talk.
And no problem, man. We'll be in touch soon, all right?
All right, thank you so much.
All right. Guys, that's VJ Vemo from SB Nation talking Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago. Yeah, that's a great question that you asked, Jason, because we want to see fans. We need fans in the stands. It's just a different experience. It's just a different experience, for the players, for the coaches, just in the game itself. And not to mention they need some money in their pockets too, their owners. I want to start putting some of that money back instead of it all going out right about now. So it's just a different experience, whether you're watching on TV or whether you're able to go to the games and it's just different. And hopefully the Bulls, they have to have conversations. They have to, if they're letting people in for Cubs and Sox, they're going to have to, even if you had 20%, of
20,000. Yeah. You get 4,000 people in there.
4
or 5, who knows? Who's counting? You know what I mean? What's an extra 1,000? We could spread them out.
It's just interesting. I happened to listen to a podcast which featured Jamel Hill, and they were saying how all the TV ratings had gone down, and they've equated some of that because there's no fans in the building. It makes for a less pleasurable viewing experience, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, you love to see the fan. You love to see the place get hyped. You know what I mean? Whether they're for your home team or you're cheering or booing or for the visitors. You like seeing that. You like because there's an energy that you can feel when you're watching the game. we've watched sports our whole lives. So when a game is tight, it's a close game or a playoff game or a championship game, and it's tight and you're going back and forth, you're feeding off the energy through the TV screen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Through the TV screen, you're feeding it off that energy. And yeah, it just really hurts the game, the product right now, and of all sports when there's not a lot of people there. So, hopefully soon. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. It's the last break of the show. So don't go anywhere, folks. More sports conversation with Jason Palmer and myself right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. It was a 118-95 win for the Bulls last night at home over the Raptors. 9 players in double points, led by Patrick Williams, who had 23. Wendell Carter Jr. with a double-double, 12 points and 11 rebounds. Zach LaVine with 15 for the 17 and 20 Bulls. We're back home tomorrow night against the Thunder, Chicago 10th in the Eastern Conference. The Blackhawks visit the Panthers tonight. Chicago coming off Saturday's 4-2 loss against Florida. It's the second of 6 straight against Florida teams. They'll play at Tampa Thursday and Saturday, then return home Tuesday night for a pair against the Panthers. Spring training on Sunday, the Cubs and Angels played to a 1-1 tie. The White Sox shut out Oakland 1-0. 3:05 first pitch this afternoon between the Cubs and the White Sox. The Sox are the home team. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey, James, that order just doubled. We got to move fast here.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Somebody pick up that phone.
Like at Luca's Gourmet Frozen Pizza Company. To operate at scale, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at SportsZone Chicago. I'm sitting here with my guy Jason Palmer. He is the co-host of one of the hottest shows here on SportsZone Chicago. What's up, cuz? With his cousin Lance Irvin of the Mac Irvin dynasty here in and around Chicago and Chicago basketball. Who you got on this week, Papa?
Hey, man, we got a good show. Obviously, we're all about NCAA hoops tonight. Like, the entire show is all NCAA basketball, especially off the Illinois exciting win yesterday to win the Big Ten title of Ohio State. We've got Big Ten Network analyst and a member of the Flying Illini, Steve Bardo, coming on the show tonight at 6:30. So Steve's going to talk to us about the fight in the Illini and also about Loyola's chances. Congratulations to the Ramblers as well. They got in. So we're going to talk a lot of hoops with Steve. And then we also have a young lady coming on as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. Brooke Weisbrod from ESPN is coming on. Brooke is going to talk to us also about NCAA tournament. What teams is she looking at this strong? We'll talk a little bit about the women's tournament, which is going to be kicking off as well. And then Lance, Maya, and I are going to reveal our brackets. So, brackets is always fun because by day 2, your brackets is usually busted.
Gone. Yeah, busted.
But we're gonna do some bracket fun this afternoon, and we're gonna also introduce a new segment called Jump Ball, where my cousin and I take a different. We have a topic, and we both have a different thought on it. So we'll both have 60 seconds to state our case, and then the viewers will get to judge who wins and who they agree with the most. So looking forward to a great show tonight. Yeah.
Oh man, great stuff. Speaking, and I'm glad, and this just like this show was predominantly basketball. We had Sean Davis on at 10 o'clock from ESPN. So it was a funny story. So when I first started Illinois Center for Broadcasting is what it was called. Now it's Illinois Media School. I actually started in 13. But I didn't have the money to go, so I just waited. But they said, hey, you know what? Still come to the shows on Wednesday nights and at State Street Studio. And so me and Sean Davis was in there, and it was actually Jared Payton's show. It was called the hashtag Best Show. And so I would go in there every Wednesday, and Jared was just doing his own thing and making moves. And so I was in there for almost a year until I was able to register. And then as they grew, and Shawn got a gig at WGN, then he got a gig at ESPN. So man, I was so happy for him. It's just really, really happy because I saw the grind. I saw he was doing it firsthand. As being on the show with him, it was just so great to see. And I knew he was a University of Illinois alum, and so it was good stuff. And then VJ Vemu we just had on right now talking Bulls. This is such a very basketball heavy show. We did talk a little bit. We did mention the Bears in the top of the morning segment, where give me your thoughts. Allen Robinson says he has no desire, zero chance to sign that tag in the near future.
They got problems, man. This is why we said fire Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy at the end of the season. That's exactly why we said that. Now, Allen was already upset last year. He was already upset last year, during the season. We went through that whole thing. And now you just send him into the red. And here's the problem for the Bears. That signals to the rest of the free agents who are out there, stay away from this place. You go wind up like the Bulls are, where don't nobody want to come here, Bears. You got to think about that, man. Their politics and everything, their public relations and everything. It's a bad PR move for the Bears as an organization for other potential players coming down the league, man. This is something that can set you back 4 or 5 years, because as we're seeing in all sports, that these players are, they're starting to really assert their power with these organizations, man. And I think a lot of them are going to start picking up on what these NBA players are doing and starting to assert themselves. Now, it's hard in football because you need a whole lot more people to put a good team together, but this ain't good, man. This ain't good at all to have your star player come out and say this, man. You see what it's done to Houston with the Deshaun Watson thing.
Yeah, he said he's not going to sign it in the near future. So that means he's got the summer, he's got to mid-July before he's got to sign it, or he's not going to play. I think it was with week 6 or 10 in the NBA, in the NFL season, where if he doesn't sign at that point, then he's not going to play. I just think he's waiting to see who they have throwing the ball. I just waited to say, hey, you know what? Fine, you can tag me. It's collectively bargained. It's not a sneaky trick, and you got me. Okay, me and my representation knew that this was a very strong possibility. So this is your right, but my right is I don't have to sign it if I until week 6 or 10 if I want to play. And obviously he'd get the prorated amount at that particular point, not the whole 18 million. But I just think he's waiting. I said, who you bringing in? Who you bringing in? And so there's a potential trade, and this was on ESPN. And this is I love Dan Orlovsky. I love him. Here's a potential trade. He says, go call the Jets. Look at this. So the Bears get Russell Wilson. The Jets, you get Khalil Mack, a 2nd-round pick, and Kyle Fuller or Allen Robinson. I can give you Kyle Fuller. Okay. The Seahawks, you get Sam Darnold. So now you got your quarterback. 3 first-round picks, because the Jets have that. The Jets have that capital. Okay. And the Bears get Russell Wilson. Your thoughts, Jason?
You giving up your number 1 quarterback, your number 1 right receiver, your
No. It was Kyle Fuller or Allen Robinson.
Oh, was that or? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Okay. Or. Okay, that makes it a little bit more palatable. Thank you. I ain't wearing my glasses, Ivan. That makes it a little bit more palatable. I'd much rather give up Allen Robinson than Fuller, because I just think a wide receiver is perhaps easier to replace than a veteran cornerback with Fuller's skills. So I could live with that. I could live with that.
I could too, because now you got a quarterback. Ivan, put that up again, please. So you look at that. So the Seahawks, you got a quarterback in Sam Darnold. Okay, you got 3 first-round picks. Okay, the Jets, now you have a number 1 receiver. Okay, you still have some picks. You got our 2nd-round pick. You can go get a quarterback, a stopgap. For the time being, like Nick Foles was supposed to be ours, but anyway, and we get Russell Wilson. I think that's. I agree with you. There are a couple of teams in the draft, or a couple of athletes, wide receivers in the draft that I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind drafting, and because we got Darnell Mooney, Anthony Miller. I think we'd have to keep him at that particular point because, but you know what, he would be needed. I can
tell you why he wouldn't, but okay.
I really want that. I really want to see what they have in Riley Ridley.
There you go.
Please let that son of a gun play. Please let him play.
There you go.
Please let the son of a gun play. And Javon Wims, you have one shot. If you're not even 10 minutes early to a meeting, you're late. You're cut. You don't get to come 9 minutes early. You got to be there 10 minutes before every meeting starts because of the nonsense you pull. Because here's my thing. You all have special skills and skill sets. Okay, use Javon Wims as a jump ball guy. Use him in, on a 3rd down. Just throw it to the sideline. Up. He'll go get it in the red zone throw it up in the end zone. The dude is 6'3". I think he had a 43-inch vertical. Why the hell aren't you going to use that to the best of your ability? I don't understand. You don't have to run any other routes. You know what I mean? You don't got to run any other routes. You come back, curl. You put it up high. As a comeback, you put it up high. Just throw the ball up high. Let him jump.
And let's not forget, part of the passing game is also your tight ends, and you're pretty kind of strong in that position.
Now you are, yes. Yeah. Cole Kmet he started coming on late. Hopefully you don't have to cut Jimmy Graham. If you do, you would hope that 1 year under Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet could kind of develop as as a number 1 tight end. There's a lot, but here's the only thing that bothers me, dude. We're not going to run the ball. That's the only thing that's going to bother me because Nagy's going to want to go out in his own terms. He's going to want to go out, and if he's going to go out, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. And we've seen what happens when you run the ball with this Bears team. You take time off the clock quickly. You wear down a defense. You score 30 points a game, and you win 3 or 4 in a row. Okay. And then all of a sudden, when you just dirty little grubby fingers are touching this offense, you start to see we lose the last game of the season, we lose in the first round of the playoffs, and in those games, the run totals had dipped considerably as to when our offensive coordinator in title, was in Bill Lazor was making the calls. So that's the only thing that scares me about this, Jason, because we know what to do. I know what the hell the Bears need to do, but he's going to do his own thing.
Question: can an organization step in, whether it's a general manager or let's not even say owner because that ain't gonna happen with the Bears. But can a general manager just tell a coach, "Look, man, we have an offensive coordinator. That's who's calling the plays. You're not going to do it." You think they can do that, or is that too much of a political hit to put on a head coach in the NFL?
They can.
Okay.
They can. He can do that. That's a power move. That's sit your ass in your place because I'm the GM and I hired you and I can fire your ass.
And my ass is on the line too.
And my ass is on the line too. And you know what? Things ran a lot smoother when Bill Lazor was calling shit. How about you just sit down and decide if we're going for it on 4th and 1? That's all we need for you to do with the offense. Are we going for it or are we kicking? That's all we need you to do. Okay, that's it. And because it's going to benefit both of us. It's going to benefit me and you.
Exactly. That's my point.
More games. Your ass ain't on the line. It's off the hot seat. If you're not on the hot seat, me as a GM, I'm not on the hot seat. We're good. But his ego, and this is what Ryan Pace has got. I'm talking about Matt Nagy's ego. Ryan Pace has to really come in and say, look, this is how we're going to do this. Because here's what I saw in this window when we're scoring 30 points a game without the help of our defense, who's giving up a lot of points. This wasn't because of them. It was because of our offense, because we were running the ball, because David Montgomery was chewing up defenses and wearing them down, winning. We were winning by attrition. They could not rush the quarterback because David Montgomery's eating them up for 5, 7, 10, 12 yards a pop, 80-yard pop here or there. You can't rush the quarterback, which means Mitch had time. So whoever the hell you're going to have at quarterback is going to have time if you continue to run the ball.
I agree. I would love to see him do that power move. I don't think he's got the gajungas to do it, but I think for self-preservation for both of them, you have to. You have to. Look, man, if you go down, I go down. If you come up, I come up. This is what we got to do to both keep our jobs. That's the way I see it.
Yep. I do. Hassan, do you all think that Russell's a prima donna, or is that the Seattle fan base? And well, put it this way. I think all good quarterbacks are prima donnas. I really do. I think quarterbacks and wide receivers are prima donnas. Wide receivers being the biggest ones, but quarterbacks, I think they're the biggest. They're the second biggest. They're 1B. Put it that way. All right, as far as prima donnas go, I do think the Seattle fan base is bitter. Let's not get it twisted. You're trading away a Super Bowl winning quarterback. It should be a two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. But way to go, Pete Carroll. So yeah, I'd be bitter too. I'd be bitter. I'd be mad. But as a true fan, like, it depends on what I get back. Okay, what do I get back from this? All right, now I could set myself up for the next 4 or 5 years. Okay, because 4 or 5 years, Russell's going to be on a decline almost at the end of his career because he's going to be 37. Okay, unless he's him and Tom Brady drink at the same fountain, which is possible. But are you gonna bet on that? I don't know. So if you get a whole bunch of draft picks and you infuse that team with young talent, what happens if you get a stud running back and then you get an average or a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, not a Russell Wilson, but you get a good quarterback. Well, guess what? That good quarterback he's aided a lot by a good running game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they asked for David Montgomery. If it was just the Bears and Seahawks in the trade, I wouldn't be surprised if they asked for David Montgomery. All right, because they're running back left. So, and as much as I love David Montgomery, deuces, Papa, deuces, you gone. Because if we win a Super Bowl, it's not going to be because David Montgomery. It's going to be because of Russell Wilson.
I'll say this before Jason goes. Hashem, look, at living in Seattle, yes, bitter as hell. They're night and day. It's like if you're either cold or hot. They're quick to turn on guys, really quick to turn on guys. Weirdly enough, I don't know how you're bitter towards a guy who won you a Super Bowl, who's done everything for your community. Could have won twice, could have won 2 Super Bowls, but he's not the guy making the play calls. You know what I mean? The thing is that the Seattle fan base, Seattle media, they're just I'm telling you, living there. Like I had to live through the Legion of Boom. I was there when they won. You know what I'm saying? I had to watch this city talk shit about the entire NFL like they were the first team, like they were the first team ever to be discovered. You know what I mean? They were A1. They're the first to ever have a top defense ever. I witnessed it. So yes, I could believe it because they're just really quick to flip on. I mean, I know Chicago could get on you, Philly could get on you, but Seattle as well. Seattle could get very, very, very bitter.
Interesting. They sound a lot like the Fighting Illini fan base who talk more shit and ain't never won no championship in no sport, which get on my damn nerve because I'm trying to pull for this team because I like the players, but their fan base just irritates the hell out of me.
Sounds like Cub fans.
Yes, exactly. They really do. In some ways, they really do. But, at least the Cubs have now won.
Nah,
so, okay, I'm going to let them talk a little bit. Jesus, Fighting Illini fans, shut up. That's an interesting perspective. I don't know much about, Seattle. But I don't think Russell's a prima donna. I think, I agree with what Shawn said. I think quarterbacks and wide receivers have that in them a little bit. But, even if he is, the man should be. He got a Super Bowl championship. He's paid. He's done something that was never done before in the history of Seattle sports. And his wife is fine. He got nice kids. And, the man is, he a cool dude. So, I wouldn't have I don't mind that. I want that in a quarterback. I want somebody to go out there like there's nothing we can't do, as opposed to, well, maybe we can do this. I mean, so I don't have a problem with it.
you know, with him, because he's the type of dude like, look, I've been there. Just follow me. I've been there. I've been there. Trust me. Just follow me. I'll take you there again. And what are you going to say? Okay, nothing but okay.
That's right.
Nothing but okay. So I'm cool with him. It just really, and you know, the one thing that we talked about on Friday is Vegas took down the Russell Wilson next team bet. So they took that down, and then the odds for the Bears being the next team, they dropped. They dropped in Vegas. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying Vegas ain't in it to lose money. They know some shit. They know some shit. So maybe they're waiting for, you know, because now we're in the legal tampering, or Wednesday is illegal tampering, or now is illegal tampering. Wednesday you can start talking to people, signing people. So I don't know, you know, and maybe they're just trying to get some loose ends. But again, Vegas is not in this business to lose money. And when they lower the bets, they lower the odds on Chicago being the next team, and then they took where's Russell Wilson going to be? And then I think that the odds for Chicago going to the Super Bowl, the odds went down because they think I think they believe Chicago's going to get Russell Wilson. So I'm hoping and praying that it does come, because that, and if that Dan Orlovsky, because the pick we had was from ESPN, that was from this morning, and Dan Orlovsky said, hey, this is how you get it done. Get a third team in there called the Jets, you know, and it works well for all parties. It works well for our parties. I mean, we lose Khalil Mack, and that stinks. Okay, but Khalil Mack,
gotta get it again.
But the last 2 years we haven't. You know, Khalil hasn't given us the production that he gave us his first year. And I understand that he's been held, he's been raped, he's been accosted, he's been horse collared, he's been whatever. You know, some things are illegal in 24 states, you know, that they've done to this guy. But you got paid all that money, and don't tell me how rocky the ocean is. Just bring the ship in, okay? Yeah. And you got to get there. And I know you're doing well, you know, setting the edge, turning it back inside, stuff you don't see and normal football fans don't see or don't understand. But you're there to sack the quarterback. And you have to do a better job of doing that and fight through, you know, and let's not get it twisted. There were plenty of times last year when you were one-on-one with a tackle, okay, and you couldn't get to the quarterback. So, you know, maybe he was hurt, and I think that was a strong possibility that was the issue. He was hurt, but you got to fight through it, man, and you have to, you know, you're getting paid trillions and trillions of dollars, you know, basically for one job. Go get that quarterback. And you did it the first year in 2018. You did it to, man, unbelievably, you did it, boy. You came on the scene that opening night in Green Bay, and, you know, and it's been downhill from that season on. So, you know, I don't mind if you get rid of Khalil Mack. Maybe, you know, now that means you got to go draft a pass rusher. Go get a guy who that's all he does in college. That's all. You don't worry about the run. Just go get a joker who can do that. So it just makes sense for this Bears team.
I agree.
How about the screwing us up, man? The Illinois team. Thanks, NCAA. U of I and Loyola in the second round. One of the teams gets knocked out. Like that's bullshit, dude. Come on.
So when they were announcing the brackets, I'm sitting there watching. I'm texting Maya and Lance at the same time, and about halfway through, I said, "We about to get screwed. They're gonna put Illinois and Loyola in the same region, in the same subsection." You think so? It's coming. Watch. I was just happy they didn't have them playing against each other in the first round. I figured Illinois would be a high enough seed, you know, that they wouldn't make Loyola 16. But sure enough, we're going to get that in the second round. You know, I hate to see Sister Jean leaving after the second round. I was hoping that Loyola was going to be able to make a run or at least give them a chance and put them in a different region. But, you know, they've done what they've done. I just think it's going to be real interesting, Shawn, to see how they do this because the entire term is taking place in the state of Indiana, and apparently it's in different quadrants. I haven't looked to even see where. Do you know what other quadrants are? Are they like South Bend, Indianapolis?
Yeah. I know they have it. So they're going to be in. I'll tell you the venues.
Okay.
The venues are here. They're in.
They do have a lot of venues in Indiana.
So they're going to use at Mackey Arena, which is at Purdue's.
Notre Dame. Oh, Mackey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have the Simon Scotch Assembly Hall, which is Bloomington. It's probably IU.
Okay.
And then the rest are going to be in Indianapolis: Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Hinkle Fieldhouse, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, and then the Lucas Oil Stadium. So those are
Bloomington, huh?
So those are the venues.
You know, your boy got some property down there. I can go down there and stay for free.
Oh, some people don't be playing with me. We might be going down and staying for free. What you talking about?
Newly rehabbed. It's newly rehabbed as I'm waiting for a tenant.
So the first four are one's in Mackey and one's in two are in Mackey and two are in Simon Smotes Assembly. So West Lafayette, Bloomington. The first and second rounds, they're using all of them, all the locations. The Sweet 16 Elite 8 are in all in Indianapolis. We're Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Hinkle Fieldhouse, and Lucas Oil Stadium. Then the Final Four is in Lucas Oil Stadium.
Hinkle, is that Butler University?
Good question. I don't know.
You said Hinkle Fieldhouse?
Hinkle Fieldhouse, yes.
I think that's Butler. We can have Ivan look that up real quick. Hinkle. I think that might be Butler University because I think they play in a field house. So that would be, oh, wow. Okay, well, that's cool. Well, like I said, I knew they had a lot of facilities in Indiana.
Yeah.
So.
Just make sure you're not out at night because it's KKK capital of the country, but that's another story. We're not going to go there, but it's I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, guys, we had a phenomenal show. Holy cow, it was awesome today, guys. If you didn't watch it, you didn't catch it, make sure you go back and you check it out. 10 o'clock. I want to thank my guests, Shawn Davis, producer for ESPN 1000 right here in Chicago on State Street, that great street. He was my first producer when I was back in school, back in Illinois Center for Broadcasting is what it was called. So Shawn Davis came on and talked to U of I. We went back a little bit. We talked a little high school ball and it was good. The interview was actually very long. It was like 35-40 minutes. Holy cow, it was crazy. And then 11 o'clock, I want to thank VJ Vemu for coming out and talking Bulls with us. It was always good to talk to VJ. And then, I wanted to thank my guys who all come in and sit with me every week. Joseph Phillips sits in every show with the top of the morning segment. I want to thank Kenneth Davis for coming on. And then my guy right here, Jason Palmer, for coming on again. And, he's got his own show tonight and he comes and sits with me for the last hour. And then just going to thank you guys. And of course, I got to thank my guy. You see him below us. It's very appropriate because without him, he's the foundation of this show. He makes it run all smoothly, my guy, Ivan Vargas. So what'd you find out, Ivan? Where's Hinkle?
Butler.
It is. Okay.
You are correct, sir. Jason, you go. So, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 45-hour break, okay? We're going to be back on Wednesday, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. So, for Jason, for Shawn Davis, for VJ Vemu, Kenneth Davis, and Joseph Phillips, and my guy Ivan Vargas.
Hey guys, remember to check out What's Up Cuz tonight, 6 to 8 o'clock. Jason's got a good lineup going as always. So check it out. And Jason, hey, I think it was Shawn that had mentioned. I think Lance's or your cousin.
No, Lance's cousin. There.
Is it your cousin or Lance's? Lance's or your
Lance's brother.
Your cousin.
Lance's brother
helped out Io down in Illinois. Better his game.
No.
Oh yeah.
He played.
He played for Nick. He played for Nick at Morgan Park.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, he played for Nick at Morgan Park, and he played with Mike on the Mac Irvin Fire travel team. So a lot of connections with that. We're going to have Io on our show, obviously, very soon. We're trying to give him some space. We know he's got a lot of work he's trying to do, but Io will be on the show probably right after the tournament, hopefully talking about how he won a championship.
Oh, that'll be dope. That'll be dope. All right, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in. So again, for Ivan, for our executive producer Elliot Baez, our social media guy Clarence Council III, and for my co-host in absentia Maya Kai, I got one point of business for you. Download the app, guys. Make sure you download the app wherever you get your apps from. I want you to follow us on all social media platforms. Facebook and Instagram, it's at SportsZone Chicago. On Twitter, we're at SportsZone Shy. And on our app, make sure wherever you get your apps from, go look up and go find SportsZone Chicago and download the app. So with that, finally, I got two words for you, folks. We out.